you. So excited for this week that we have here all week long as we start off this beautiful month of August and jump right into college football very, very soon here, folks. This is the ACC preview week, and every single one of the 14 member institutions of the ACC covered here on Wake Up Call during this week of Wake Up Call broadcast. So very happy to bring you ACC preview week from inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. Cafe Kubal here with you on 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Street, and 401 South Salina Street, all in Syracuse, New York. You can also find them by going to the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road at Sweetheart Corners for their drive-through location, and you could find them by going to 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York for their giant behemoth of a brown stripe building. So make sure that you head out and support local today at Cafe Kubal. If you're out of town, you could simply go to cafekubal.com and you could order from them and have it delivered to you. That's cafe, Kubal.com. So make sure that you do that. And I appreciate you supporting local, supporting small business, and supporting Central and Upstate New York as always. Like I said, this is ACC Preview Week. I am so ecstatic about this. Very excited for everything that we get to do, and very much looking forward to this. We started off the week with 4 ACC schools for you. We started off with Syracuse and also went into Boston College, Florida State, and NC State. And now today we are giving you another 4 schools. And those 4 schools are all 4 schools that have new head coaches. They're all in the same division, in the Coastal Division. So this is the last season for divisions. And ironically, all of the new coaches in the ACC are within the same division, all in the Coastal Division. So we will get to hear from each of those coaches in my Q&As with every single one of these teams. Duke, Virginia, Virginia Tech, and Miami, all, like I said, with new head coaches this season. So we'll hear from each of those head coaches. We'll hear from Duke's Mike Elko, who comes from Texas A&M. We'll hear from Tony Elliott, who comes from Dabo Sweeney in Virginia. We'll also have the opportunity to hear from Brent Pry, who is with us with Virginia Tech and has a very, I mean, he seems to already be having fun with his personality with his players, which I'm very excited about that, and to get to continue to know him and whatnot. And he comes to Virginia Tech after spending 2018 to 2021 as the defensive coordinator at, well, actually, since before that. So he's been at Penn State for a while. 2014, he got to Penn State, and he was the assistant head coach, co-defensive coordinator, and linebackers coach. In 2016-17, he became the associate head coach, defensive coordinator, and linebackers coach, and then was the D coordinator and linebackers coach for 2018 to 2021. So through a lot of their recent success, he was at Penn State inside of the Big Ten, and now he's the Virginia Tech head coach, speaking once again on Brent Pry. And then we get to hear from Mario Cristobal, who comes from Oregon and being the head coach over there. So very excited for everything we get to do in ACC Preview Week. You are firmly locked in ACC Preview Week. Every single one of the teams will be spoken to and spoken about. I have Q&As with every head coach of every institution of all 14 schools, and every single school I have student-athlete representation as well. So no stone goes unturned here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, as our ACC Preview Week is fully locked and loaded and ready to go for you, coming down the pipeline as we have the opportunity to bring you Duke, Virginia, Virginia Tech, and Miami this morning. And I wanted to put these all together because they all, like I said, are in the same division, and they all have new head coaches. So we're going to have some fun with this one. We're going to start things off with the Duke Blue Devils here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Once again, you are inside of the Cafe Kubal studios, and very happy to be here. You're watching with us on youtube.com and facebook.com, both /wakeupcalldt. You're also on wakeupcalldt.com. You're on facebook.com /livenowdt. And you're on mixlr.com /wakeupcalldt. So a lot of different ways you're interacting with the show. And I thank you so much for being here where sports meets that thing called life. These are all free avenues, so make sure that you do what you need to do to connect with us. Subscribe to us on youtube.com /wakeupcalldt so you never miss a show again. You can also subscribe to wakeupcalldt.com And you can follow us here, like us, whatever it is now on Facebook. They always change things up. So you can connect with us on Facebook.com/wakeupcalldt. We thank them for what they do. And so we appreciate it, and would just love for Facebook to maybe, stick to something and make it a little easier for businesses. But I do appreciate the avenue that we have to be here with you on Facebook.com/wakeupcalldt and on Facebook.com/livenowdt. And of course, you can join us for free by becoming a member on MixLR. You could download the MixLR app if that's easier for you. Just go to MixLR on the Google Play or Apple App Store, then search one word, Wake Up Call DT, and you can connect with me there. Once you follow us, you'll get emailed every single time the show goes live, so you'll never miss a live event again here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, which will be great, and it'll always connect you with the show, and we always love having everybody come in that is used to hearing us, that's been hearing us for a while and been devout to the show, and of course all of our new listeners as well as our viewers. So big thanks to every single one of you for supporting a show that I consider very different, very unique, and something that I love dearly with my heart. So that is what we have for you. Those are the different avenues we have, and of course we have the archives where everything goes, and you can connect with the show after that. So make sure you do that as well. With that being said, we, like I said, are firmly inside of ACC Preview Week. And so with that being stated, we're going to continue our ACC preview with jumping in to the first team that we'll have here on the show that has a coaching change, the Duke Blue Devils. And Mike Elko, their head coach, who just spent time at Texas A&M under Jimbo Fisher, he will join me first and give his thoughts on his time with Jimbo Fisher at Texas A&M and what he took away from that and how he can use that at Duke.
Coach Dan Tortora, wakeupcalldt.com, coming in to this team this season. Just what you can say about what you took away from the 4 seasons with Jimbo Fisher as defensive coordinator at Texas A&M and how you can move that over into leading this program.
Yeah, I think I've had a lot of unique experiences over the years. Certainly the last 4 working with Jimbo, and he had a lot of background in high-level football, Florida State, ACC, being at Texas A&M and the SEC the last 4 years. I just think it really helped me kind of refine who I was as a coach. When you're in that pressure cooker and the stakes are as high as they were at times for us, you just kind of take your game to a new level. And I think I walked away from that experience really prepared to come into Duke and kind of build this program and build this culture the way we want to do it.
So you see Mike Elko talking about building the culture and building things up the way that they want to do it, and definitely looking forward to it. Now listen, David Cutcliffe, I don't want to, make any statements about the Duke Blue Devils without mentioning David, because I really enjoy interviewing David Cutcliffe. I've done it for many years, since almost a decade ago of joining, of covering the ACC more heavily. I've had the opportunity to speak with David Cutcliffe many, many times, and I appreciate him tremendously. Thank you, Ross. Keep up the great work. You do that as well, brother. Very proud of all the work that you do. So, having this connection with Duke and the opportunity to, speak with David Cutcliffe over the years, I do want to thank David, and I don't want to talk about Duke without saying that thank you, because I've always enjoyed his insight. He's been a tremendous coach. I've called him a quarterback guru, and I'm excited. I'm excited that I had the opportunity to speak with him. I'm happy that, I got to be around such a mind, and now I'm looking forward to what Mike Elko is going to bring to this team as he is now the head coach at Duke. And, after spending some time with Texas A&M, and seeing that. So it's definitely exciting to have this moment be here and have this, opportunity to get to know a new coach and see what, Mike Elko's all about, because, now this is a different feel, right? And he's going to bring his own flavor. He's going to do his own thing. He's going to do it his own way. And David Cutcliffe, good coach, definitely with coaching the quarterbacks and building up the quarterbacks, with Peyton Manning and Eli Manning and whatnot. and the wins just weren't coming through. So they made a change, and now they have their 22nd head football coach, ironically, in the year 22 here. So in 2022, they have their 22nd coach, and Elko has done them one better as he's spent 23 years of coaching. 18 of those years have been spent as a defensive coordinator, including 13 of those years at the FBS level. So of 23 years, 18 as a defensive coordinator, 13 of those 18 at the FBS level. And he's been named a semifinalist more than once for the Frank Boyles Award, which goes to the top assistant coach in college football in 2017 and 2021. He's coached in 8 bowl games, something to look at here. He's helped 2 different teams to NCAA Division I AA quarterfinal appearances and has been a part of 4 league championship teams. So very cool here. Very excited as a defensive coordinator. The bowl games that he's been a part of were the 2009 Humanitarian Bowl, the 2012 Military Bowl, 2013 Little Caesars Bowl, 2016 Military, 2017 Citrus, 2018 Gator, 2019 Texas, and the 2020 Orange Bowl. He was the defensive coordinator and safeties coach at Texas A&M for the past 4 seasons under Jimbo Fisher, who has connections to the ACC and being the former Florida State assistant and Florida State head football coach. So as a part of Jimbo Fisher's staff, the team at Texas A&M with Mike Elko there went 34-14 with almost a 71% winning percentage and went to 4 consecutive bowl games. And another piece of this, in his final season with Texas A&M, which was last season, he helped them become the number 3 national ranked team in scoring defense, allowing 15.92 points per game, and they were the number 9 pass efficiency defense and number 7 red zone defense, and they also ranked 7th in the country by allowing just 4.66 yards per play, which is tied for 10th, They ranked 7th in the country by allowing 4.66 yards per play, tied for 7th in the country in 4th down defense, allowing only 35.3%, and then tied for 12th in the country in total sacks with 39 last season, and defensive touchdowns with 3. 16th in the country in 3rd down defense, 32.8%, and 20th in the country in total defense. So in the top 20 in all of those categories, we have not seen Duke do much of anything. Now, they have played defense at times, and they've struggled to score, so we'll see what this defensive-minded coach can do in scoring the ball, as he also has to figure out who's going to be his quarterback, and that's the next topic of discussion that I've had with Mike Elko, which is Riley Leonard is somebody that I covered during his recruitment. It came down to Syracuse and Duke as his final 2. He chose Duke to go there and play quarterback and wear the number 13. So I asked Mike Elko about the quarterback battle, and no offense whatsoever to the other quarterback battling Riley Leonard here, because this has to do with my connection to Riley, and so obviously no offense whatsoever to the other quarterback trying to figure things out here, which is Jordan Moore. So much respect to Jordan Moore and Riley Leonard. I hope you both have a fantastic fall camp, and may the best player win and get that starting job and move forward. So I do want to preface that, because I did ask the question specifically about Riley Leonard, but then said, I'd love to know about the quarterback battle in general, and that's because of my history with Riley. So no offense to Jordan Moore whatsoever. I hope you both have a fantastic fall camp. I look forward to speaking with you both, and this is what Mike Elko had to say about his quarterback battle.
Coach, coming into this team and having a quarterback like Riley Leonard obviously vying for the job, so we can say about the quarterback battle and specifically about Riley, what you've taken away from his skill set at this point.
Yeah, it was a unique thing in the spring. We've got 2 kids finishing their freshman year. Riley Leonard, obviously one of them, and Jordan Moore, the other, and they end their first year, new system, new scheme, new way to practice, new way to do everything. You put them out there and you kind of ask them to compete for the job. We certainly saw some highlights from both guys, probably included. But I think what we need this camp is a little bit more consistency. I think we'll get that. They had great summers, both of them. They're great kids. They work extremely hard. And we're just really looking forward to them in fall camp. consistently being themselves. I think they're way more comfortable with what we're doing systematically now. That pulse on what we're trying to get accomplished. And so I think we'll get a much better quarterback product in fall camp, and hopefully that battle will get decided somewhere around the opener.
So looking to, assign someone by that opener, right? And to figure out who that person's going to be as you have two quarterbacks vying for this opportunity and seeing what they can do, right? Jordan Moore and Riley Leonard both getting after this job, trying for this job after we saw Gunnar Holmberg, finish up his time at Duke. So now the door is open and we will see who's going to win this job. But I love going into camp knowing that there's a battle going on, right? I love that there's something with that, that there's something to watch. There's something to be excited about. And I love quarterback battles. I wish Syracuse would open their practice more. And, because that would be great. It would be great for all of us. And the opportunity to get to see, because that's what I love. I love to see the battles. I remember there was one Syracuse camp where they had like four or five quarterbacks, and the job, this was years ago, before Dino, and the job was wide open, right? It was wide open, and maybe somebody had a little bit of a lean into it, but I love the fact that you saw like four guys at a time drop back and throw at the same time, and you're just watching them all, and it was, it was reminiscent to me of almost, like going to something, going to an NFL camp, right? And just seeing people get after it and just fire away and who's going to get it and what's going on and whatnot. And so I'm definitely looking for that are both getting after the starting job. John's trying to figure things out with these sophomore quarterbacks, and they got after it in the spring. They'll get after it again in the fall. And I love the fact that the job is not taken. It is not had yet. According to Mike Elko, it's here. It's here in the fall. And we hope to name a starter before the beginning of the season, right? That first game. So I love that, and I'm going to be paying close attention to what's going on in Duke and who that starter could be, and where they're leaning and whatnot. So shout out to Jordan Moore and Riley Leonard, and my best to the both of you as you advance forward. And, it's a great opportunity to go into this new chapter with a new head coach, a new starting quarterback, and I'm looking forward to what Duke will do with that. To shift gears here and go to the defensive side of the ball, we take a look at the fact that the Duke Blue Devils at ACC kickoff had a bunch of representation. And here in ACC Preview Week, I'm sharing my conversations with that representation. And defensive tackle Dwayne Carter joined me. And the first thing that Dwayne and I spoke about was having Mike Elko in and how he is the positive difference, what he is feeling from the environment of Mike Elko and his staff. This is what he had to say.
Dwayne, Dan Tortora, wakeupcalldt.com. Coach Elko, coming into this program like he was talking about 8 months ago, what have you seen as far as the positive difference thus far?
Yes, there's been a lot of positive change. That's the biggest thing, and word for me, and that program now was kind of like how the conditions would go, right? So it's been very smooth. We laid a good foundation. The most important, the best positive change is really like a player-coach relationship partnership. So I get part of like they're working together. Like she said, we just got to be a head coach 8 months ago. So we're working together. We're working with the program. We were going to do the win. How most importantly we can be successful on that field.
You can sense, or at least I sense from Dwayne Carter, that he's excited about this, right? And he talks about this player-coach relationship, right? And so that being a change, that being something different, that there's this player-coach relationship that's going on. And so now we get to see exactly what that's going to look like, but it sounds like Dwayne Carter's excited about this. And so to continue with that, I said, how do you have fun at Duke, right? You go through a coaching change together, and obviously that's tough, it's tumultuous, it's stressful. So how do you as a team get together and have fun at Duke?
Dwayne, going off of that, like you said, being a vet on this team, how do you all have fun? What is it off the field that you do to keep that camaraderie? Because when there's a coaching change, obviously that family has to stay strong and stay together. So how does Duke have fun?
Yes, I mean, how we have fun. So we're a stereotypical family, right? So we all have a role, we have time, we have this, we have that. But a lot of times, all our relationship building is just basically in a lot of after workouts, right? So you finish all around, and there's like 10 guys out on the floor, and there's a guy laughing because some guys have their daily lunch. And things of that nature. So family building, we have like video games, we hang out, and we really just being in each other's presence. That's the best way, because that's when you give somebody your time. That's the best way to know somebody.
You know, this is something that I shared that Dwayne said. He said that the best way to get to know somebody is your time, right? To give them your time. And he said that. He was like, you know, it's just spending time together. It's just seeing each other, right? You see each other for games, you see each other in practice, you see each other in the film room. But this was saying like, hey, you know, when we spend time together, that, you know, that's helpful, is to just give somebody your time. And I definitely value that, right? And I actually posted something this morning on my social media. Well, I shared something on my social media. I can't take credit for it. So one of my friends posted it, but it says, and I'll share it with you here today. It says, remember who checks on you when you get a little quiet. Those are your people. I'm going to say that again. Remember who checks on you when you get a little quiet. Those are your people, right? When you get quiet, when you just, you know, kind of distance yourself, people haven't heard from you, the ones that reach out to you those are your people. Those are the ones that truly care. I would also say, in reaction to that, those that go silent on you don't care, right? Those that go totally silent on you don't care. Now, I'm not saying, now again, when you go totally quiet, who reaches out to see how you're doing? It's different than going silent on somebody. Giving somebody the silent treatment and then just being quiet, right? You have some friends you talk to and then you kind of just don't hear from them for a while and you're like, okay, well, I hope they're okay. And, you know, I've realized this firsthand, that you really realize who your people are when you get quiet, right? And you also realize who your people are when they ignore you, right? And they leave you there. Today we call it ghosting. But time is so imperative and it's so important, and I really do thank Dwayne Carter for talking about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, the best thing you can do is just spend time together, is to give somebody your time. You know, that to value that. It's one of the gifts that we can never get back, right? It's not like a gift you gave somebody and, you know, you're not friends anymore, you break up or whatever, and you say, okay, well, give me that back, right? Give me that bracelet back that I got you. You can't do that anymore. Or, I mean, you can ask for it, but you can't do that with time, right? You can't take time back and put it in a vase and use it when you need it. When it's gone, it's gone. So the time that you spend and who you spend it with is very, very important, because that time is precious. And the time you spend talking about something, you got to remember that too, right? It's the time you spend with somebody. It's the time you spend talking about somebody. It's the time you spend with something, talking about something. All of the time that you put into whatever that is, that person or that thing, you're giving all of that time. And when you look back and you reflect, I tell people all the time, your life is essentially you writing a book. Do you want to go back and read the book? Now, some of those chapters might be hard to read and they might get you emotional, right? Some of those chapters might be really difficult to get through again because they were difficult to get through the first time. But are you writing a book that you would want God to read out loud? If you're doing things and saying things that you wouldn't want to be shared, remember, that's your book. And God's going to read that book. And might ask you about a chapter or two, or a sentence or two, or a paragraph or two in that book. So how much time you're spending on a subject, that's a chapter in your book. How much time you're spending on things that are not fruitful and are not multiplying and are not helpful and are hindrance on your health. How much time are you spending on things that are healthy, and how much time are you spending on things that are not? Because the time that we spend and who we spend it with and what we spend it on directly affects the rest of our life. I'm going to say that again. The time that we spend, who we spend our time with, what we spend our time on, and how much time we spend with those things and those people that becomes our life. It becomes your life. So what you do with your time is precious. And that's why I appreciate Dwayne talking about time, the importance of time, and the gift of time. Because it is a gift. And it should be spent wisely. Shaka Hayward joins me next, linebacker from Decula, Georgia. And pardon me here, Dwayne Carter's from Pickerington, Ohio. So Shaka Hayward from Decula, Georgia joins me here to speak about his thoughts on Mike Elko and the positive feeling around the staff.
Dan Tortora, we can call DT.com. Shaka, from your point of view, what life has been like having head coach here with you, Mike Elko, and the staff that's been brought in. What has the atmosphere been like, and how is it positively changing Duke football as we step forward?
It's just a new energy. It's a new, just different energy. First start right in. No longer just embracing it together. Just been playing embracing each other.
So Shaka didn't say a ton, but he did say, it's different energy, right? There's a different energy around this staff and this team. And so we'll look to see how that translates onto the field, as you've now heard multiple players on this Duke team talk about a different energy than what they had prior to with that staff. And once again, I respect David Cutcliffe, and I'm looking forward to getting to know and building a relationship with Mike Elko. These are the players talking, saying, life is different here in a positive way. So we'll see what that looks like in 2022 and beyond. The next player up here from Duke, Jacob Monk, offensive lineman from Clayton, North Carolina. I spoke with him about being an offensive lineman and that how sometimes it's a thankless job, and if he feels that, and his thoughts on being a lineman.
James Tortora, wake up call DT.com. Jacob, sometimes being an offensive lineman is a thankless job. What can you say about having that role and how you feel on this team leading it forward? And if being an offensive lineman for you has almost made a chip on your shoulder, knowing that the credit typically goes to quarterbacks and running backs, you don't always hear about the offensive line.
Really, it's just it is what everything. I just need credit. I just enjoy playing the game of football, and the biggest thing about the line is the win. So it's just we're fortunate that.
So, he, another man of few words here, talking about it. But, to me, I asked the question because being an offensive lineman, right, we typically don't hear about it, right? You don't hear, if an offensive lineman does their job, you typically don't hear a lot of things because they're expected to do their job. They're expected to block. They're expected to help you run the ball. They're expected to help the quarterback stay upright, but we're watching the play down the field. We're watching the play unfold. We're watching the quarterback. We're watching the running back in between the tackles, and we're not often giving thanks to our linemen. So thank you, Jacob Monk. Thank you, Matt Bergeron, who was on the show yesterday. Thank you to the linemen that are out there, because it is very important and vital, and without a strong offensive line, you got nothing. Look at Syracuse for 2 seasons. 2 seasons. At one point in each of those seasons back-to-back, leading the country in sacks allowed. Leading the country in sacks allowed, yardage lost and whatnot. The offensive line is a massive, massive component of your success or the demise of the team. So thank you, Jacob, for what you do. ACC Preview Week, starting things off with Duke here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life. Our next team coming up is Virginia. We'll get into them after this fast break on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora from inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios. You're hanging out with us for ACC Preview Week, all 14 schools, interviews with every single one of those 14 head coaches, as well as student-athlete representation from every single school within the ACC, coming to you this week in Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora's ACC Preview Week, all from inside the Cafe Kubal Studios. We'll be back right after this fast break and after you hear from our fantastic partners in Central and Upstate New York. Listen in to what they have to say and definitely go out to see them and support local. Avicoli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicoli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicoli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there, and of course, you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100, and also find them on myavocolis.com. That's myavocollis.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Campground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Campground and where your dog will be staying, in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Campground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9campground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and campground spelled with a K.com. K9campground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Campground.
PB&J's Lunchbox, the food truck that you love finding all throughout central and upstate New York, now has a street-side cafe. So when you're craving their traditional favorites as well as their out-of-box amazing menu items, you can now head to 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. Located just minutes from the highway, the Thruway, Destiny USA, and Onondaga Lake Parkway, PB&J's Lunchbox Street-Side Cafe is there for you Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner all throughout the day. Get breakfast for dinner, dinner for lunch, whatever you fancy, including their award-winning grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Find them at 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. PB&J's Lunchbox, where we love to know what's in your lunchbox. As a patient, what do we want? To be cared for, to be listened to, and to have someone walk us through the process on our path to victory. Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics does all of those things beautifully, with Dr. Mark Petropoli leading the team on 791 West Genesee Street in Skaneateles, New York, located minutes from beautiful Skaneateles Lake. Whatever your injury may be from head to toe, preventative care, rehab, physical therapy, laser therapy, and surgery are all available at Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, where they care about us, they listen to us, and they understand that everyone's path to victory is a little bit different. Let them help you on yours by calling 315-685-7544 to make your appointment today. That's 315-685-7544. And find out more information at victorysportsmedicine.com. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios, hanging out with you where sports meets that thing called life, and very happy to be here with you. And I don't know if anybody else has this issue, but I always feel like my hat goes that way. Like when I'm walking, it like moves itself. I don't understand, but it looks like it's where it needs to be right now. Got the ACC hat on for ACC Preview Week inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios. Cafe Kubal, 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Street, 401 South Salina Street, all in Syracuse, New York, as well as inside of their double-decker behemoth of a brown stripe building on 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York, and on the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road at Sweetheart Corners in their drive-through location in North Syracuse, right by the airport. So make sure you head off to any one of those Cafe Cubals today, fill your cup up right, and let them know that Wake Up Call sent you. We are very, very much into ACC Preview Week inside of MonPazPopcorn.com's What's Poppin'. You have Duke, who we just spoke with, coming up next. Virginia, Virginia Tech, and the Miami Hurricanes. All four of these schools have new head coaches going into this season. They're all in the same division. It's the last season of divisions, at least through 2026, as after this year. For 2023, 2024, 25, and 26, we are going to see for 4 seasons a dissolving of divisions inside of the ACC, and it will turn into a one full conference. Top 2 teams make it to the championship game. So this is the last season of divisions in the ACC for now, maybe forever. And every one of these 4 schools in the Coastal Division has a new head coach. You just heard from Mike Elko, and you heard his student athletes speak on him. Now we have Virginia head coach Tony Elliott, who comes from being a long-time coordinator with the Clemson Tigers inside of the ACC in the other division in the Atlantic. And Tony Elliott and I had the opportunity to speak with each other as we have ACC Preview Week focusing in on Virginia. This is what Tony Elliott had to say about his conversation with Dabo Swinney. Now, Dabo, who you'll hear from later on this week, Dabo spoke with Tony Elliott and told him, listen, you need to take this job. So this is what Tony Elliott had to say about his relationship with Dabo Swinney and about the conversation about this, about taking the job, and about, you know, just what his takeaways have been with Dabo and that bond that they have, that as much as Dabo has had him on the staff and appreciates him, just what came to all of this and taking the job at Virginia.
Coach, welcome here to Virginia. I know you've been in the ACC, but welcome. So, Dan Tortora, wakeupcalldt.com. Dabo Swinney said yesterday that he felt this was the right fit for you, that when he had the conversation with you, he felt like this was the one and you had to take it. I know you've spoken about the why for Virginia, but just your relationship with Coach Swinney, what you could say about that, and that connection with him, that as much as he wanted you there, he respected you enough to say, hey, this is a good fit.
Yes, Coach Swinney's relationship is kind of changed over the years, but it started as a father-son type relationship. He was my position coach for my senior year. And I was coming off of 3 years of playing for Rick Stockstill, and then there was a transition, and I was asked to come back. I had already graduated from Clemson with an engineering degree. There was a lot of uncertainty. I was a walk-on. I didn't know what was going to happen, and then here comes Coach Swinney. So we got similarities in our background, our values that we had already aligned. And then over the years, when I became one of his coaches, you know, that father relationship, father-son relationship is still there. That kind of now transitioned to more of a mentor/colleague. And I align with a lot that he's doing at Clemson. And I also value his opinion on a lot of things. So I would seek advice to him. A couple of things told me he wanted me to be an old head coach, not just a head coach, which means that you go somewhere where it's the right fit. I learned a lot about how to build a culture and what protecting and establishing a culture is for a program if you want to sustain it. You know, I learned a lot of things about just how to run the day-to-day. That's what's so awesome about Coach Swinney. He's very inclusive. You know, he includes a lot of people, and sometimes people use it as a knock, but for me, that's one of his greatest assets is he values people, he incorporates people, he allows people to develop. So he was instrumental in helping me develop, but he also taught me that, hey, you don't have to be in a rush. You know, you can enjoy the moment and press where your feet are as you prepare, and then look for confirmation, because again, the objective is to be an old head coach, not just a head coach.
So, you know, a lot of things that Tony Elliott said here, but talking about Dabo, you know, in that conversation, and Dabo, you know, telling him, like, you have to take this job, you know, that he believed this was the right fit for Tony Elliott. And he said, I want you to be an old head coach, right? I don't just want you to be a head coach, I want you to be an old head coach. And we hear this when there's more that comes up here, and it kind of Tony Elliott paying it forward with Keaton Thompson saying, I don't want you to make the NFL. I want you to last in the NFL. You know, I don't want you to be an NFL player. I want you to be a long-time NFL player. So Tony Elliott hearing from Dabo, I don't want you to be a head coach. I want you to be an old head coach, which means I want you to do it for a while. And then Tony Elliott saying to Keaton Thompson, I don't want you, which is coming up, I don't want you to make the NFL. I want you to last in the NFL, right? I want you to be a player that's there for a long time. So that pay it forward approach, which I think is phenomenal. I really liked it. My first impression of Tony Elliott, good. And, I mean, he talked about Dabo Sweeney, that he's very inclusive. He brings a lot of people in. And he said some people might knock him for that, but he likes that trait. He likes that he does that, and building that bond and having that relationship. Listen, Dabo Sweeney's tree, we're going to see what this tree looks like because we have Tony Elliott in Virginia, right? We have Jeff Scott, who's continuing his work in South Florida, which is a program that was in complete dismay after Willie Taggart left. And now you have, and Willie Taggart doesn't get the credit for building that into something, which he deserves, and I'll continue to give it to him because he's earned it. So you have Jeff Scott in South Florida, you have Tony Elliott in Virginia, and then you have Brent Venables in Oklahoma. And Dabo has kept his staff together for a long time, right? And now these guys are starting to move forward and take these jobs and take these opportunities. But I already had a good impression of Dabo Sweeney. I've spent many years talking and interviewing Dabo Sweeney. I appreciate Dabo Sweeney. I love that he leads with his faith. I am of same cloth in that respect. And so, I very much value Dabo, and I appreciate that Tony Elliott spoke on this and expanded on what Dabo Sweeney had said about the fact that, Dabo said, this is the right fit for you. I feel like Virginia's the right fit. And that, Tony said it's because he wants me to be an old head coach. He wants me to do this for a long time. So, Virginia, in the time that I've covered the ACC for almost a decade now and been on site on location in some respect, I've seen a bunch of different coaches, right? I've seen Mike London, I've seen Bronco Mendenhall, and now Tony Elliott. And we'll look to see if Virginia can get some success here, some sustained success, and not only have sustained success, but to be able to keep Tony Elliott and keep this program moving in the right direction, because the other Tony Bennett for men's basketball has done an incredible job on that side, and Virginia has won it with their first ever national championship within these past few seasons in men's basketball. So we'll see if football can start to get up the hill here and start to create some good things and some fruitful things. I'm excited to see what Tony Elliott's going to do. He's inheriting a strong quarterback, Brennan Armstrong. He had, and I mentioned it yesterday, with Jason Beck, his quarterbacks coach at Virginia, leaving after Bronco Mendenhall stepped down. Jason Beck and Robert Anai came to Syracuse. Jason Beck, having trained and been with Brennan Armstrong, helped him to get over 4,400 yards this past season and in more than 30 touchdowns and I believe only 10 interceptions and 65% completion percentage while attempting 500 passes. So a lot of good stuff coming from Jason Beck. Hopefully that'll translate to Syracuse. I asked Brendan Armstrong about his relationship with Jason Beck and his thoughts on Jason not being there this season as he's now moved on to Syracuse.
Brendan, Dan Tortora, wakeupcalldt.com. Your quarterback coach, Jason Beck, is at Syracuse now. What can you say you learned and took away from him, and how are you adjusting to the fact that he's not there?
Yeah, I grew up with him for 4 straight years of my college career. He taught me a lot. But I think with Coach Lynn now, it's more of a partnership. I think the relationship I have with Coach Lynn actually is a lot better in the sense that it's like a partnership. I'm one guy. His energy that he brings is great. But yeah, like I said, Coach Beck has been great for me. I wouldn't be in the position I am without him there and the staff that was there. But I'm just fortunate that I get to, have him in person now with Coach Lynn and gain more knowledge from someone else. And that's something you can really do is just keep getting more knowledge at the position. But yeah, overall it's been great.
Yeah, I thought this was an interesting remark by Brennan Armstrong, that obviously he said good things about Coach Beck, but he said that the coach that he has now, that his quarterback's coach, Taylor Lamb, that there's more of a relationship, right? More of a give and take, a back and forth that I'm sensing from this, like more of it seems like this is a different bond. So Brennan was very successful under Coach Beck, but under Coach Lamb, it seems like things are different with Taylor Lamb. So it'll be important for me and for you to pay attention to what Brennan does under Coach Lamb, and to see how Jason Beck is and how the quarterbacks respond to his way of teaching, to follow this story and follow what's going on. Nick Jackson is next up on the docket here in our coverage of Virginia and ACC Preview Week. And Brennan Armstrong, a quarterback from Shelby, Ohio. Nick Jackson, a linebacker from Atlanta, Georgia. And this is what he had to say about Coach Elliott.
Nick, Dan Tortora, wakeupcalldt.com. Just what you could say about having Coach Elliott in the building, what type of energy he brings, and what the atmosphere has been like, and maybe how animated he gets at times.
Yeah, Coach Elliott, it's been a luxury, honestly. You feel the buzz around campus, grounds, and just having an energy change a lot. Different things around this campus, different things around our given facility. There's a lot of different energies to the program that I'm excited to keep going, bring back old traditions with the ball, different things like that. And Coach Elliott's been great for us, and I'm really glad we got him.
So, more positives here about Coach Elliott and the opportunity and the buzz that's going around, right? You hear this with Duke and you hear it with Virginia, that the energy that these new head coaches are bringing, that there's a positive change here. It makes me wonder what the energy was like with David Cutcliffe, and it makes me wonder what the energy was like with Bronco Mendenhall as we step into this new chapter, though, because it sounds like these student athletes from Duke and Virginia are saying that it's a positive change. It's a good thing, what we're seeing now. So it makes me very interested in what's going on here. So definitely looking forward to this, and definitely, excited about what could happen with both of these schools, and also to see how this potential cultural, environmental change is going to present itself in the win-loss column and with these players overall as they move forward. I mentioned Keaton Thompson. I spoke with him last year. He's from New Orleans, Louisiana, one of my favorite cities in the whole world. And I did Katrina relief back in 2006. Fantastic place. Spoke with Keaton Thompson about Coach Elliott, and that Coach Elliott doesn't want him to just make the NFL. He wants him to last in the NFL. So we'll speak on that, and the fact that Tony Elliott had said earlier in his time at ACC Kickoff Week that he is on Keaton every single day. So we talk about both of those things. Him wanting Keaton to not just make the NFL, but last in the NFL, which is reminiscent of what Dabo Swinney said to Tony Elliott about being an old head coach. And then also what Keaton thinks about the fact that his head coach is on him all the time.
Dan Tortora, wakeupcalldt.com. Keaton, you said last season when you were standing up there that you were willing to do whatever it takes. You just heard your coach say that he doesn't want you to just make the NFL, but to stay there for a long time. Your thoughts on that? And also your thoughts on Coach Elliott saying he is on you every day?
He's not lying about that. He's on me every day for sure. Now, like I said, now I really, can appreciate it, see where it's coming from. And, the guys who see him go to the NFL, and, that's his career last time that I want to do. And, with him just pushing me, to be great, it's really helping me, step this past offseason, throughout the summer. Just really focusing and trying to, get better each and every day. And, as long as I do that, everything else will take care of itself.
Keaton Thompson, a wild card for Virginia, and good to have him back, because not only did Virginia have Brennan Armstrong at quarterback, but you have Keaton Thompson, who is able to play quarterback as well on this squad. And we look at his statistics of this past season, Keaton Thompson, and what he did out there. And, he's a jack of all trades. They can use him in a bunch of different places. And so I think that, that's very important to note here, what Keaton can do. He came from Mississippi State, and very interesting here because he transferred from Mississippi State from Virginia. And the team that I spoke with yesterday, Fabian Lovett, defensive tackle, he transferred from Mississippi State to, a couple of years ago, he transferred from Mississippi State to Florida State. So interesting about that too. For Virginia last year, he was involved in the passing, rushing, and receiving game. He attempted 4 passes last season, And then he ran the ball 39 times for 247 yards, averaged over 6 yards a carry, and had 4 rushing touchdowns. And then he caught the ball 78 times for 990 yards, averaged almost 13 yards per catch, and had 2 touchdowns. So last season, altogether, he didn't gain anything in passing. He actually lost a yard in passing. So in rushing and receiving, Keaton Thompson last season totaled 1,237 all-purpose yards. So Keaton Thompson, a lot of different things, right? Somebody can look at him as a punt returner, a kick returner, a receiver, a running back, an H-back, a little bit of everything, right? And then have him in those special sets, put him on special teams, and fake a punt and have him throw the ball. And, have him be your holder, right? Have him be your holder on special teams where he can grab the ball and run up the gut or go to the outside, or have him pass the ball as well. So Keaton, a jack of all trades, and I'm excited to hear that Tony Elliott had said to us, and it kind of just came out of nowhere that he specifically said of the 85 scholarship spots they have on the team, he's like, I'm on Keaton every day, and I want him to not just make the NFL, but I want him to last in the NFL. So I'm excited about what that's going to look like this year, knowing that he had almost 1,300 all-purpose yards last season, to know what it's going to be like with a coach that's going to be on him, seeing what he can make of himself now as he looks forward to the opportunity of being in the NFL. And I look forward to what Keaton will bring as a Swiss Army knife of the NFL. So he's one of these unique players, and he's exciting to watch. His number is exciting as well, because not only is he a unique player, he wears number 99. So that's typically, you see that with a defensive lineman. So excited to see that, that the fact, I would kind of say, and I don't know if he's used this before, but Keaton, feel free to use this, that teams have 99 problems and he is one, is something that he could say there. So Keaton Thompson, excited to see what he could do this season for the Virginia Cavaliers, and thankful to Virginia for spending some time with me with Brennan Armstrong, as well as Nick Jackson and Keaton Thompson and their new head coach Tony Elliott, as we continue ACC preview week here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. And you've just heard from the Virginia Cavaliers as they step into a new era with a new head coach, and their third head coach that they have had here in less than a decade's time. So we'll see what comes from this with the Virginia Cavaliers, and we will be back here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora after you hear from our fantastic partners in Central and Upstate New York in this fast break. From the Cafe Kubal Studios, we will come back and continue our ACC preview week today, with all 4 teams being the teams that have all new head coaches. The next team that you will be with here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora as we preview their season are the Virginia Tech Hokies and new head coach Brent Pry, who has spent many of his last few years at Penn State inside of the Big Ten with the Nittany Lions.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
Cafe Kubal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafekubal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Kubal needs. Cafe Kubal, coffee for the soul.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal studios, hanging out with you where sports meets that thing called life. Cafe Kubal, anywhere in the world. Go to cafekubal.com, get more information, see about their products, have them shipped to you folks. Cafe Kubal, that's cafe, Kubal.com. So if you are watching and listening from Virginia, from North Carolina with Duke, right, from down in Florida with Miami, or wherever you are here in Central and Upstate New York, go to cafekubal.com. Those of you that are here in the community of Central and Upstate New York, you can go out to Cafe Kubal whenever you'd like. So head out to 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Street, 401 South Salina Street, all in Syracuse, New York. You can also go to the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road at Sweetheart Corners and check them out there. And that is in their drive-through location, so make sure that you do that and go out and see them at their drive-through location in North Syracuse at Sweetheart Corners, and of course at 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York, in their giant behemoth of a brown stripe building, their double-decker cafe. I call it the Welcome Center for Manlius because it's where all roads converge into Manlius, so definitely make sure you check them out there in their awesome experience of their very, very large building there for the cafe that has an expanded parking lot now as well. So go out and see Cafe Kubal and see what local tastes like. Definitely appreciate everybody that's done that up to this point. Inside of MonPazPopcorn.com is what's popping. Do want to let you know that Mon Paz is hiring, and they're hiring for the fair. Fair's coming up very soon here in August. Go to Indeed.com, search Mon Paz, or follow us on social media. Find us on Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, Twitter at Call DT, and Instagram at Wake Up Call _DT, as we, on all of these avenues today, will share once again the link to apply for the job. It's working with a fantastic crew. Listen, it's an amusement park every day. They have a brick and mortar on 201 Old 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. They have their food trucks that are out at multiple events, sometimes at two different events at the same time, like they were at Harbor Fest and the Syracuse Arts and Crafts Festival this past weekend. They were in Oswego as well as in Syracuse. They have Spud Shack as well with Mon Paz, so you can connect with them there, and their ribbon fries and their curly fries and their regular fries and their sweet potato fries and everything they have to offer. So very good at Spud Shack. Jim and Angela, the owners, are working there all the time with their staff, and that's something that is very important to me, is to work with companies who have owners like myself that are hands-on, constantly working in every fabric of what they do, right? You know, they take out the trash, they cook, they're on the fryer, they answer questions, they train, they do a little bit of everything. They're not absentee owners, and I love that about the wonderful team we put together here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and you can see them on Facebook and YouTube right now. Cafe Kubal, Carvel DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, Witty Wicks, PB&J's Lunchbox, Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Avicoli's, Mon Paz Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, Canine Campground Dog Boarding, Honda City of Liverpool, Pizza Man, Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay, Mother's Cupboard, Millhouse Market, and of course our exclusive multimedia marketing partnerships with Lemoyne College, Marywood University, and Bryan and Stratton College of Syracuse. Fantastic people working with their people, which I love so very much. And if you want to work with a fantastic team, go to Indeed.com and look up Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory and apply for a job at the fair, at their brick and mortar, and on the food truck. So they're hiring. Definitely would love to have you be a part of their staff, and I'm very excited to see everything that they're going to do coming up here for the rest of the year and then some. They have been wonderful people. They create fantastic products, and I have their cotton candy for the first time ever. I should bring that down in studio and try some of that, but definitely should bring that over to the studio. But I'm very, very excited. I got their old-fashioned caramel corn, which is my grandmother's favorite. Caramel corn was her absolute favorite, and I know that she would love to go to Ma and Pa's, and so I implore you to do that yourself. Go to 201 Old 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York, and taste the difference. And of course, make sure if you're looking for a job or if you know someone who is, that they apply on Indeed.com for Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. With that being said, inside of What's Poppin', we continue ACC Kickoff Week. In our continuation of ACC Kickoff Week, we'll stay in Virginia, but we'll move from Charlottesville to Blacksburg as we bring you the Virginia Tech Hokies and their new head coach, Brent Pry, along with their student athletes. Now, Brent Pry was named the Virginia Tech head coach November 30th of last year, the last day of November, right after Thanksgiving, and he served 8 seasons, past 8 seasons, as defensive coordinator, linebackers coach at Penn State. So a shout out to him for all the time that he spent there. He returns to Blacksburg after he was a defensive graduate assistant for the Hokies in 1995 through 1997 under Frank Beamer, and he was also under defensive coordinator Bud Foster, 2 names that you should know if you know Blacksburg and you know Virginia Tech. A 30-year coaching veteran, he's coached teams that have qualified for 15 bowl appearances and have finished in the FBS top 25 in total defense 8 times. So, in his 30 years of coaching, half of the time he's been on teams that have gone to bowls, so that's 15 teams in 30 years of coaching, and has finished in the FBS top 25 in total defense 8 times that he has been out there coaching. So big shout out to him for that. And he has coached top 10 defenses at Virginia Tech, Penn State, Vanderbilt, Georgia Southern, and Western Carolina. So he has been a part of coaching top 10 defenses in multiple institutions there, 5 different institutions, including Virginia Tech and Penn State most recently. And since he was promoted to defensive coordinator in 2016, the Penn State Nittany Lions had 3 seasons with 11 wins and 4 seasons with 9 or more victories. He helped the Nittany Lions to the Big Ten championship game in 2016 after defeating number 6 Wisconsin in that championship game. So helped the Nittany Lions to a championship, and the Penn State Nittany Lions had 3 seasons with 11 wins and 4 seasons with 9 or more victories since he got promoted to defensive coordinator under James Franklin, the head coach there. And his connection to James Franklin goes back to 1993-94 when James Franklin was the quarterback at East Stroudsburg University, and Pry coached outside linebackers and defensive backs. So here's the crazy thing. Brent Pry was a coach when and Brent Pry doesn't seem that old. Brent Pry was a coach when James Franklin was playing at East Stroudsburg University, which I know very well, and I've been by a billion times. So pretty crazy there. Brent Pry was a coach at East Stroudsburg University when James Franklin was playing as quarterback for East Stroudsburg, and then James Franklin hires Brent Pry, and Penn State has a bunch of success with Brent Pry on the staff. Now Virginia Tech is hoping to have the same success now that they have Brent Pry as their head coach. And we'll jump into my first question to Brent Pry here of Virginia Tech, which was about why this was the right fit. He had said in an earlier interview that he was fine being an assistant coach for the last 3 decades, and he was never going to become a head coach unless the right job came along and it was the right fit. So I asked him why Virginia Tech is the right fit. This is what he had to say.
Coach Dan Tortora, wakeupcalldt.com. You've been an assistant for a while, and you said it had to be the right fit to make you change that and become a head coach. What is it about Virginia Tech that just made this the right place for you to make that move?
Yeah, it's a great question. What is it about Virginia Tech? I mean, it's a special place. It's not for everybody, but it's definitely for me. It's for these guys. It's a genuine place. I didn't have to pretend to be somebody I wasn't. I we're going to do a great job of recruiting young men and families that identify with Virginia Tech. And what's unique to us, we got a great degree, we got a great relationship with our community, we got an unbelievable game day environment, we're a blue-collar outfit. What you see is what you get, we're relationship-based. I mean, so this thing was the right time and the right place for me, for my family. It was important that what the administration, the vision for where this program needed to go, aligned with what I thought. I've always been close to this program. I was here in 95, 67, and I've stayed, obviously keeping a watchful eye on it. And so it was important to me, the vision and the direction that the administration, that Whit and those guys believed needed to happen was aligned with what I thought. The welcome's been awesome. We've certainly moved in the right direction.
So, Brent Price said a lot there. A lot about what this school means to him, and why it's the right fit. And he said, it's unique. And he said it's not for everybody, but it is for him. And I thought that was a really interesting piece of what he said. It's not for everybody, but it is for me. And I can definitely appreciate that, right? And the fact that this is something that matters to him, that has mattered to him, and his passion about coming in. I mean, obviously, you have to be passionate, because if you're not, then what are you doing, right? If you're not passionate in the relationships that you're in the business that you're in the field that you're in, you're not going to do a good job, right? Because you don't want to be there. And I tell people all the time, go where you want to go, be where you want to be. Because if you're not where you want to be, then you're going to feel that, and it's going to come through, and it's not going to come through in a great way, right? When you don't want to be somewhere, that's going to shine through. And when that shines through, what is that, ultimately going to do for where you are, for the people that, you're involved with, and for yourself if you really don't want to be there and you really don't want to be a part of it. And then conversely, if you do want to be there and it does matter to you and it is important and it does hold value for you, then there's incredible growth and incredible, positivity that can come from this, which I'm excited to see with Brent Pry, what he's going to do here. I really am looking forward to seeing what he's going to do. So, I do want to go back to some of the things he said here. And so my question, once again, I said you had been an assistant for a while, and you said it would have to be the right fit to make you change that and become a head coach. What is it about Virginia Tech that just made this the right place for you to make that move? He said, it's a great question. What is it about Virginia Tech? It's a special place. It's not for everybody, but it was definitely for me. It was for these guys. It's a genuine place. Didn't have to pretend to be somebody I wasn't. We're going to do a great job of recruiting young men and families that identify with Virginia Tech and what's unique to us. We've got a great degree. We've got a great relationship with our community. We've got unbelievable game day environment. We're a blue-collar outfit, which I like. What you see is what you get. We're relationship-based. This thing was the right time and the right place for me, for my family. It was important that what the administration did for where this program needed to get aligned with what I thought. I've always been close to this program. I left. I was here in 95, 96, 97, as I mentioned. And I've stayed, obviously, keeping a watchful eye on it. It was important to me, the vision and the direction that the administration, that Whit and those guys believed needed to happen, was aligned with what I thought. The welcome has been awesome. We're certainly moving in the right direction. So, I love this. I love hearing that. Because, Virginia Tech, Justin Fuente was there, had immediate success, and dealt with different things and injuries and whatnot, and eventually started hot. And see, that's the thing. When you start hot, people expect you to stay hot forever. And when you start that high, right, there's nothing wrong with doing that. There's nothing wrong with having immediate success. But then there's that expectation that some people have. And Justin Fuente, because it was so high and it looked like he was rolling down the hill, he did a great job at Memphis. Justin Fuente is not a bad coach. But it didn't work out in Virginia Tech long term. And he kept Bud Foster as a D coordinator after Frank Beamer had him. But now here we are with Brent Pry. It's a guy who's been with the program. He's been there before, like you said, for 3 seasons. But I like the fact of what he said. It's not for everybody, but it's for me. It's a genuine place. I didn't have to be somebody I wasn't, which brings me back to, hearing other pieces, right? And hearing other conversations of the why. Why are you the head coach here? Why does it matter to you here to be a head coach here? Right? And I enjoy that. I enjoy when somebody says, like, hey, this is why I'm here. This is what I'm here for. What did Jeff Halfley say to me yesterday? I wanted to go to a place where I didn't have to wait by the phone in the middle of the night to get a call. I didn't want to cut corners. I didn't want to cheat. And you got Brent Pry saying, hey, I want to go somewhere where I can be myself. And Jeff Halfley echoing that at Boston College. I want to go somewhere where I can do things the way I want to do them. And I appreciate that. I spoke with Brent Pry also on realignment, and this is what he had to say. I said, obviously you'd spent time at Penn State, and the Big Ten's going through their own conference realignment. Geographical barriers mean nothing to some conferences anymore. The SEC, as much as they've expanded, they've stayed true to the South. They might be Southeast and the Mid-South, but they have stayed true to the South for the most part. But here's the Big Ten grabbing USC and UCLA from the Pac-12, having a joint alliance, which I told you was bogus to me when it came out because it didn't make any sense. It made sense why they did it, but not why they said they did it, with the Big Ten, with the ACC, and the Pac-12. So you have this joint alliance, and then the Big Ten in this joint alliance, in this friendship group of 3 friends, cut the head off of one of their friends and then turn to the ACC. And if I'm the ACC, I'm like, I'm going to leave before you use that knife on anybody else. So here we are with no geographical barriers in realignment when it comes to the Big Ten. And I asked, obviously with him having experience in the Big Ten, just what his thoughts were about realignment and what he thinks of it as a head coach.
Coach, coming from Penn State, like you just spoke about recently, with all the realignment and different changes and movement we're seeing in collegiate athletics, how do you look at that as a head coach, knowing that there is some uncertainty as to the shifting and what's going to happen, and geographical barriers really don't matter anymore?
Yeah, for us, I've always been taught you worry about what you can control, right? That's where your focus is. What we can do is what's best for Virginia Tech. I love our brand. I don't know where else in the country, what other conference offers everything that the ACC does. Great academics, great climate, great cities, great rivalries, great talent. To me, it's a rare combination that I don't think you get in any other leagues. And I've been in the SEC and I've been in the Big Ten. So I love what we have to offer. I got tremendous faith in our commissioner and our ADs and our presidents. They're very engaged in this. And I expect big things. Feel very good.
Big words coming here from Brent Pry about the ACC and where he thinks they're going, right? Because at this point, the ACC is the only one of the quote-unquote Power Five and of the legislative term autonomy group that has not made a move or had a move made against them, right? The SEC cut off the head of the Big 12. The Big 10 cut off the head of the Pac-12. Nobody's cutting the head of the Big 10. Nobody's cutting the head of the ACC or of the SEC, and the ACC has just been sitting right now. So asking him about realignment, again, I like what he had to say here. In the fact of how he views realignment and what his take is on this realignment. So definitely appreciate it because of the fact that, as we look at it, what are they going to do, right? What is the ACC going to do? That's the question that keeps getting asked. So how are they going to move forward? And he said, for us, I've always been taught you worry about what you control. That's what you focus on. What we do is what's best for Virginia Tech. I love our brand. I don't know where else in the country, what other conference offers everything the ACC does. Great academics, great climate, great cities, great rivalries, great talent. To me, it's a rare combination I don't think you get in any other league. I'll say that again. He said about the ACC, great academics, great climate, great cities, great rivalries, great talent. I've been in the SEC and I've been in the Big Ten. He mentions them both. Obviously, those are the ones being talked about the most because of these mega conferences that are being formed, with the SEC and the Big Ten going to have 16 at least apiece. He said, I love what we have to offer. I've got tremendous faith in our commissioners, speaking of Jim Phillips, and our ADs and our presidents. They're very engaged in this. I expect big things. I feel very confident. Well, what are those big things going to be? Keeping Clemson, keeping Florida State, keeping Miami? Really trying to make Notre Dame football a viable thing in the ACC after they spent the COVID season there in 2020? We shall see. We shall definitely see. And we'll talk with Miami in just a little bit. We continue the conversation with Virginia Tech as we have Silas Zancy here with us, offensive lineman out of Woodbridge, Virginia. And this is what he had to say when I spoke with him about the fact that they're getting a lot of transfers to come in, and just what are the transfer quarterbacks that are coming into this team. Again, with a team like Virginia Tech, like with Duke, within the same division here in the Coastal and in the same conference in the ACC, that Virginia Tech has a quarterback battle. And so I spoke with Silas because he's blocking for these quarterbacks, and I asked him about, what he thinks about the quarterback battle and what's coming into this thing, and the fact that you have guys that are that have transferred in here, and just what his take is on this quarterback situation right now. So, we take a look at this, Grant Wells and Jason Brown, and what can come from this as they step forward. So definitely looking forward to seeing what's going to happen at Virginia Tech. And, again, the transfer portal being utilized here by a head coach coming in Brent Price. So we'll take a look at these quarterbacks through the words of Silas Zancy, and this is what he had to say.
Silas, Dan Tortora, wakeupcalldt.com. Looking at the fact that there's numerous transfers coming into this team and a couple quarterbacks transferring in, just what you could say about blocking for them and what it's been like as you head toward the 2022 season of learning their tendencies and whatnot.
It's definitely been great. Blocking for both Grant and Jason. I don't really pay attention to what they tend to do is kind of blocking that they make you right, to be honest.
So, interesting here. He said good things about both of them, but then he said, hey, I'm blocking for both, and I don't really pay attention what their tendencies are because I'm just blocking for them. So, and obviously what I meant by that is, if you guys have different skill sets, different things that they do, different tendencies, how do you adjust to that? But, he said, listen, I'm an offensive lineman. My job's to block. I block, essentially. So we'll see what this quarterback battle is going to turn into, this position battle here, as we take a look at this upcoming 2022 season and what's going to happen with these quarterbacks, right? We have transfers, Grant Wells and as well as Jason Brown, seeing what they can do here with these two guys that have come into the program. So, this is going to put us in a unique world, and it's going to let us see another team that's got to figure things out and seeing, and have two transfers do it. So whoever it is, it's going to be a new face looking at this. So you got South Carolina grad transfer Jason Brown and Marshall undergrad transfer Grant Wells, and what they'll bring to the table, right? Because this is going to be a place for them to start over and to showcase themselves and show what they can do. So I do want to take a moment here to take a look at Grant Wells and what he did at Marshall, as well as Jason Brown coming from South Carolina. So if you take a look at Grant Wells at Marshall, statistically, what he was able to put forward, he played 3 seasons at Marshall. And in his first season, or his first year that he was there, 2019, didn't see anything. In 2020, he attempted 270 passes. He was 61.1% effective in completing those passes, 2,091 yards, 18 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. In 2021, last season, he attempted 445 passes, became more effective. So this is always something I like to see in quarterbacks. The more passes they throw, the more efficient they get. Because normally it's converse, right? You know, you expect that. The more times they're going to throw the ball there, the more probability that they have of maybe not being as effective. So this was the opposite for him. 445 attempts, 66.3% completion percentage, over 3,500 yards, 16 touchdowns to 13 interceptions. So that's a look at Grant Wells, who's a Virginia Tech coming in as a transfer from Marshall. But then we take a look at who's going to be on this, doing this job as well, going after it, and that is grad transfer Jason Brown. So Jason Brown coming from South Carolina, and what he looks like and what he's done as he comes into this thing. Jason Brown from South Carolina, we take a look at him statistically, and his numbers when taking a look at South Carolina now. He transferred into South Carolina and played there last year, and now he's transferring as a grad transfer. So he's played at 3 different places. And so last season he attempted only 108 passes, 55.6% completion percentage, 721 yards with 8 touchdowns to 6 interceptions. A season before, he had 403 attempts, 62.3% completion percentage, over 3,000 yards, 28 touchdowns to 6 interceptions. So that's Jason Brown here, who had an opportunity to obviously put some work in before going to South Carolina. So he's been in a couple different places, and now he's coming in to showcase himself with Virginia Tech to see what he can do with Virginia Tech and how he can look here, because he has, like I said, he's had different opportunities. And, he came from the FCS program, St. Francis, with the Red Flash, and he had single-season program records there at Division I AA in the FCS, but now it's, what is he going to do, right? He had minimal time out there for South Carolina, so what is he going to look like for Virginia Tech with this last rodeo that he has here to put forward here? And so, with the Red Flash, he had single-season program records as a sophomore and chose to transfer after the football team canceled its 2020 season amidst COVID, and now is on Virginia Tech. And they're both vying for that starting job, so we'll see what happens. We'll see who Silas has to block for going forward. Grant Wells, more experience consistently on a team, but now with both guys having a new home in Virginia Tech in Blacksburg, we'll see what happens in open season here in 2022's fall camp. Continuing the conversation with Virginia Tech, next up here is Dax Holyfield. Dax Holyfield is coming from Shelby, North Carolina, and he is a linebacker for Virginia Tech. Dax and I had an opportunity to talk about a video that he posted, and that's when he hit 380, his max in the weight room. And so we speak about that max that he got, as well as the importance in having fun in the weight room at Virginia Tech.
Dan Tortora, wakeupcalldt.com. Dex, on your social media account, you have the last collegiate max of 380, and you have the video of that. Just speak on the weight room, achieving that, and just the energy that's there in the weight room for the Hokies.
It's been great. Team, I love it. Honestly, my favorite part of football is I love this is great. It's going ways, having these attaining goals each and every day, going out there and getting better. And I love the team being bought into the weight room. You definitely tell people getting things out of it. People getting stronger, just looking more defined, just looking that's more like football players each and every day. It's just great to see those guys. The funny thing about that is it's 380, and then I got on Twitter, there was a guy from NC State, a freshman linebacker, just pulled 4 or 5 that same morning. It was like, man, you said show me like that. That's crazy. So, what? Pretty.
So Dax Holyfield saying, hey, I posted it, and then somebody from NC State turned around and allegedly beat it. But, Dax here, he's been a part of this team And, he's somebody that brings, obviously some help to the Hokies with Brent Pry. It brings one of those guys back onto the team that is there to help you out and there to, give you some leadership and help this team move forward in a positive way. Dax Holyfield, for what he's done, and we take a look here at his statistics in his time that he's been at Virginia Tech. Now, he's taken advantage of the extra year because he's already played 4 seasons, so this will be a 5th season. He has had at least 52 tackles in all of his 4 seasons at Virginia Tech, had 62 in 2018, 67, 52, and most recently 92 tackles, 44 solo, 48 assisted, 92 tackles overall, 4.5 sacks, coming off of his best season and coming off of a season where he got an interception. He had 3 interceptions back in 2019. So Dax Holyfield looking to help this team move forward and find some positive footing with a new head coach in Brent Pry. They seem to like each other. They seem to like each other's energy. And that's what Caleb Smith and I talk about here next. Coming from Bumpast, Virginia, the wide receiver for Virginia Tech, Caleb Smith, and I spoke on the environment, the playful environment with Coach Pry. Obviously, you get down to business and you got to be serious. They were on stage laughing, joking around with each other, kind of razzing each other, it seemed like. So I asked Caleb about the environment with head coach Brent Pry and what the environment is like at Virginia Tech. This is what he had to say.
Caleb, Dan Tortora, WakeUpCallDT.com. As you guys have been up here speaking today, you've been laughing, joking around with each other. Obviously, Coach has a personality we've been able to see. What's it like to be a part of this team? And is there that playful banter going on all the time between you guys?
Just since January, I've been having the most fun and also working my tail off that I've had time here at Tech. I think that just shows testament to the guys that are in the locker room. All these old guys that really stuck through. Times weren't very pretty, and the fact that we can still come together, share that, and just share that brotherhood that it's all about.
So Caleb here talking about the experience of being on this team and the energy and just what it's like at Virginia Tech currently right now under their new head coach, Brent Pry. And definitely appreciate the time of Virginia Tech to be spending here with me. And going back to what Caleb Smith had to say, he said, just since January, I've been having the most fun while still working my tail off that I've had in my time here at Virginia Tech. I think that just shows a testament to the guys that we have in our locker room. All these old guys have really stuck through it when times weren't very pretty. That fact that we could still come together and share a laugh and just share that brotherhood that Virginia Tech is all about. So, obviously him saying, listen, we've been through a lot. And the fact that we can laugh through it and stay together through it says a lot about us. And I'm about that with every relationship. Business, intimate, affectionate relationship, right? So whether it's a romantic relationship or a friendship or a work relationship, or any type of a family relationship, right? If you're able to stick together through the tough times and laugh, if you could do those two things, stick together and laugh, those are the relationships that count. So with that being said, I want to thank Virginia Tech for joining us for ACC Preview Week as we cover every single one of the 14-member institutions in the Atlantic Coast Conference for ACC Preview Week on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, featuring my conversations with every single team, every head coach, including all of the 4 new head coaches to the ACC. And you're going to hear from the 4th of all these 4 today in no specific order. Mario Cristobal in Miami coming up next. Every single team, every single head coach, student-athlete representation from every institution. This is where you come for the ACC, and Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora has got you set for ACC Preview Week as well as the upcoming season. We'll go to Miami next here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life. We'll hear from new head coach Mario Cristobal, who comes over from Oregon, but is no stranger to Miami as he used to play there. So we'll hear what he has to say about the Miami Hurricanes in my Q&A with him, and we'll also hear from my Miami Hurricane student athletes, Jafari Harvey, defensive end out of Port St. Lucie, Florida, Will Mallory, tight end out of Jacksonville, Florida, and their quarterback, Tyler Van Dyke, from Glastonbury, Connecticut. That's all coming up here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora as we continue our ACC Preview Week from inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbeeville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you.
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have at any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
I'm George Townsend of Honda City with some good advice when buying a new car. The true cost of owning a new car is determined by the appraised value when you trade it. No vehicle appraises higher than a Honda. Next, look for low APRs and deep discounts. You also want low maintenance costs and great fuel economy. That's why my advice to you is to buy a new Honda. Looking pre-owned, visit our Honda Certified Used Car Center. Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard, Liverpool, or HondaCity-CNY.com.
It would be a pity if you don't shop at Honda City.
Our corporate purpose at Chick-fil-A is to glorify God by being faithful stewards of all that's entrusted to us and to positively influence all those who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. And what became increasingly clear from our success in Cicero is that people love Chick-fil-A. And also I think we recognized that, we had a great opportunity to grow the brand and grow our platform. I felt incredibly grateful when I was selected to be a Chick-fil-A operator. I think what it's meant for me, what I've come to realize on a very deep level is that this is a calling for me. It's not a career. It's not a job. The Lord called me to be a Chick-fil-A operator and to use these restaurants to glorify Him and to positively influence other people. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed.
Head to Chick-fil-A Clay on 3974 State Route 31 in Liverpool, New York. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios, hanging out with you where sports meets that thing called life. And always appreciate you being here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. So thank you for tuning in here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora and being a part of the show every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time on YouTube.com, Facebook.com, and MixLR.com, all / Wake Up Call DT. Of course, on Facebook.com / Live Now DT, as well as by going to wakeupcalldt.com. So much love and much appreciation to all of you fantastic people out there making it happen here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, working together to bring you something special. The Cafe Kubal Studio is here for you on 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Street, 401 South Salina Street, all in Syracuse, inside of their giant double-decker cafe that they have on 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York, and they have an expanded parking lot out there now, so go and check them out. And of course, you can find them on the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road at Sweetheart Corners in North Syracuse in their drive-through location. And for those of you out of town, you can go to cafekubal.com. That's cafe, Kubal.com. So make sure that you go there today and just see how incredible all their products are. Their coffees, their teas, their chais. There's no better chai anywhere else. I'll fight anybody about that. So I definitely go out and get my chai. That's the DT special. If you order the chai, that's the DT way. So if you go out and get a chai today, you're living in my world. So make sure you go out, support local, let them know that Wake Up Call sent you. I appreciate it very much. Continuing on to MonPazPopcorn.com's What's Poppin'. We're in ACC preview week. We've had Duke, Virginia, and Virginia Tech. We'll round out today before the ingredients to success, brought to you by Hokies. And we'll have the time this morning to speak with the Miami Hurricanes in our ACC preview week. The Miami Hurricanes up next here, and very excited to speak with Mario Cristobal. Now, this has been an interesting road, right? Because I've had many a different coach when it comes to the Miami Hurricanes over the past almost decade of staying close to the ACC. And so this has definitely been a unique situation for me with the Miami Hurricanes football head coach history. And this, again, Mario Cristobal, here we go, another head coach here that is, he's no stranger to Miami. He used to play there, but another head coach here in their history as they have been trying to find the right guy that was going to fit their situation, right? And so we've seen the coaching change continue for the Miami Hurricanes, and I have had a bunch of different experiences here with the coaches, and so we'll continue to see what that's going to bring here and what that's going to be here for the team for the future. That we've seen the history of coaches here with the Miami Hurricanes. And, Mark Richt looked like he was doing some good things. It looked like he was maybe changing this team around, started off hot, and then things started to change, right? He started off hot. It started to fizzle a little bit. They started off like they were going to be the team that was going to be playing Clemson in the ACC championship game. And then all of a sudden they start losing games toward the end of the season, and you're kind of scratching your head a little bit here. And so now, you say, okay, well, Manny Diaz, right? He was under Mark Richt. He was supposed to go to Temple. I joke that the plane hadn't even cooled off before they said, oh, yeah, you're coming back and you're going to be our coach. So, here we are in this unique world, right? Al Golden, Larry Scott, Mark Richt, Manny Diaz, now Mario Cristobal. Those have been your coaches from 2011 until now. And so Al Golden, I believe I had him. Then I had, Larry Scott was only there for a few games. So I had Al Golden, then Mark Richt, then Manny Diaz, now Mario Cristobal. So in the time that I've covered the ACC on-site, on location, in less than a decade, I have had 4 head coaches that I've spoken with. Hopefully, Mario Cristobal will stick here with the Miami Hurricanes, and we start off our coverage of the Miami Hurricanes with my conversation with Mario Cristobal on the 3-5-5, something that's not going to stick, right? Divisions are going away, and from 2023 through 2026, we're going to see a new model here, a 3-5-5 model, which will see Miami finally play Syracuse again, and not only play Syracuse again, but every 4 years play Syracuse home and home. So Syracuse will go to Miami every 4 years. Miami will come to the Dome every 4 years. They used to be Big East foes. When Miami left, that was the start of the demise of the Big East for football. And now Mario Cristobal is here to talk about the new 3-5-5, which will allow Syracuse and Miami to play each other again, amongst other things. And Miami, just so everybody knows here, taking a look at this for those of you playing the home game, to look at the schedule release for Miami. Their model that they have here with their permanent, their 3 that they will play every single season, Boston College, Louisville, and Florida State. I feel like it should have been BC, Syracuse, and Florida State because you keep the two Florida teams together, and then you have BC and Syracuse, who they used to play in the old Big East. You could have put Virginia Tech in there. You could have put Pitt in there. Louisville, to me, doesn't really make a lot of sense, but here we are. So we will see Miami face off against Syracuse in 2024 and in 2026 in this new model. So they will play in Syracuse in the Dome in 2024, and then Syracuse will go down to Miami and return the favor in 2026, where Miami will host Syracuse University. So with that being said, here's Mario Cristobal to talk about that 3-5-5 model.
Coach Dan Tortora, wakeupcalldt.com. Welcome to the conference. So take a look at the fact that you're coming into a conference that's going to have this model of divisions for one more season and then switch to the 3-5-5. Just what you can say about this season having divisions one more time around and what you think of that 3-5-5 model moving forward.
Well, it seems like an effective, a potentially effective model. When they run the numbers, it seems like over the years there's not much difference of what would have been a division model versus a non-division model. It's weird. I just spent 5 years at a place where you had to win your division before you advanced, and it meant a lot. It meant a lot to the program. So that adjustment and what it means, I'm not sure yet. It seems like the results for the most part end up being the same. So I think that'll have to run its course and take a couple-year cohort to figure out exactly, all right, how does that really impact what we're trying to do.
So taking a look at Mario Cristobal and listening into what he had to say here in our ACC preview week here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal studios and having some time here with the Miami Hurricanes now. Mario Cristobal giving his thoughts here on it and, on this 3-5-5. And this is what he had to say once again, going back to what he just spoke about, break it down a little bit more. It seems like an effective, potentially effective model. When they run the numbers, it seems like over the years, there's not much difference of what would have been a divisional model versus a non-division model. It's weird. I've just spent 5 years at a place where you had to win your division before you advanced. It meant a lot. It meant a lot to programs. So that adjustment and what it means, I'm not sure yet. It seems like the results for the most part end up being the same. I think that we have to run its course. I think that we'll have to run its course and take a couple-year cohort to figure out exactly, all right, how does that really impact what we're trying to do? So, it's been stated that the Atlantic Division was pro getting rid of divisions, and the Coastal coaches were more against getting rid of divisions. And that would make sense because the Coastal has had worse records than the Atlantic. The Atlantic could argue, like I've said before, Clemson, Wake Forest, NC State, Florida State, they could argue that both of their teams record-wise would have played in the championship, and a team with a lower record, right, with 7 wins and, like if NC State has 9 wins and Pittsburgh has 7 wins, well, then NC State says, well, then we should be playing in the championship game. But whoever wins the Coastal can do that, and the Coastal's been down for years. So you got Mario Cristobal saying, hey, I don't know how much is going to be different here, and of course he's on the Coastal side. Now, he hasn't coached there yet. He hasn't coached in Miami yet, but here he is, saying, like, let's see what's going to happen. How much different is it going to be? And speaking of similarities and differences, I asked him about his return to Miami after playing there and being on campus and looking around what feels different, what feels the same. What is it about Miami that's similar, and what's different?
Coach, when you talk about coming back, like you said, it was something that you wanted to jump on to be a part of this university again. What feels the same, and what's different? When you step back on campus and you look around, what are those similarities, and what to you is changing at Miami?
Well, first thing is, it still is a difficult choice, because when you're a coach, you spend so much time trying to get to year 4, 5, 6, right? Because that's where your first recruiting class becomes junior, seniors, right? And move on. And that's what we left behind. Arguably the best pool of talent that Oregon's seen in a long time. Awesome guys and wishing them the best. When you come back, I don't get caught up in nostalgia either. I don't, because times change and things change. But what remains the same is that Green Tree practice field, that the work done on there for decades football players in college and professional football, blood, sweat, and tears out there every single day. The camaraderie of the alumni and the current players was something that was always really strong, and was a big reason why I wanted to go to Miami. I did. I loved going to practice and watching all these former players come back. They looked like assistant coaches. I mean, they'd be jumping in there, coaching them guys, probably upsetting the coaches that they were teaching. My coach was better than some of them, but the amount of passion and true brotherhood behind it was something I was really attracted to. I was attracted to the level of competition on the field. That field looked like a game day. Their practice looked like an absolute knockout, drag-out championship game. And I love that, and I was attracted to that. And we want to attract guys that are attracted to that as well. And to understand the balance that comes with being a great student and being a great member of society as well. So, in terms of training, you know, I don't need a GPS to go around Miami. I mean, it's the only place in the world where I can just, know every shortcut street, every crack at every street, with the one-way stop sign, all that stuff. So, I don't know, I haven't much time to focus on anything else except do what we can to get our players to their maximum potential.
That coming from Mario Cristobal. Interesting here. He said he knows Miami. He doesn't need a GPS to help him get anywhere when it comes to going around Miami. And the moderator, Trip Durham, who's been on the show a bunch here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal studios, he found that interesting too. And he thought, he's like, wow, if you don't need directions when you're in Miami, that's a pretty cool thing. So I know that Trip appreciated that very much so. So, looking at this and looking at some of the things that he said here, he said, I was attracted to the level of competition on the field. That field looked like game day. Practice looked like an absolute knockout, drag-out championship game. I love that. I was attracted to that. We want to attract guys that are attracted to that as well, and that understand the balance that comes with being a great student and being a great member of society. So he said he doesn't get caught up in nostalgia, but what remained the same was Green Tree Practice Field. The work done on there for decades, for the best football players in college and professional football, blood, sweat, and tears out there every single day. The camaraderie of the alumni and the current players was something always was strong, and that was a big reason why I wanted to go to Miami. I did. I loved going to practice and watching all those former players come back. They look like assistant coaches. They would be jumping in there, coaching up guys, probably upsetting the coaches that they were teaching probably a little bit better than some of them, but the amount of passion and true brotherhood behind it was something he was really attracted to. And then when I said before, quoting him, he's attracted to the level of competition on the field that he had seen there. He said, I don't need a GPS to get around Miami. It's the only place in the world where I just know every shortcut street, every crack in every street, where the one-way stop sign, all that stuff. So that to me is interesting, right? That he knows Miami, but that he said, hey, what I remember about Miami was Green Tree Practice Field. I remember the former players coming back. I remember them jumping in, looking like assistant coaches, coaching us up, getting out there, the blood, sweat, and tears, the knockout, drag-out, championship game type of caliber that practice was. And he looks serious. He looks like he's changing Miami. He looks like he wants to change Miami. And I'm excited to see what Mario Cristobal is going to do. I'm very excited to see what he's going to do. So, could definitely going to be watching Miami very closely here to see, as the fourth head coach in less than a decade, what we're going to see from Mario Cristobal moving forward. And moving forward here with Miami in our coverage of ACC Preview Week, I had an opportunity to speak with the student athletes of Miami. Jafari Harvey is first out of Port St. Lucie, Florida, defensive end, and I spoke with him about the fact that this staff under Mario Cristobal has been advantageous about bringing in transfers to help out on the defensive line. This is what he had to say.
Jafari, Dan Tortora, WakeUpCallDT.com. On that D-line, obviously Coach has been active in the transfer portal to bring in some depth there. What can you say about the newcomers that are coming into Miami and what that transfer portal could do for that line?
We got a lot of talent in the transfer portal. A lot of guys coming in. We got some vets, some great guys. I feel like everybody that came will make an instant impact on the line. When the boys came in, the body first day, boys came in, had a big record, ready to win some games.
So Jafari, just talking about, listen, bring the guys in, let's get to work, short and sweet. Some of the guys had obviously more to say that you've seen and you will see, and other guys are like, hey, this is, we're just looking to get out there, doing what we have to do, and just getting out there, putting our work in, and that's it. So, definitely can appreciate this, and the fact that with these newcomers coming onto the team in the transfer portal, he said we got a lot of talent, a lot of guys coming in. We have vets, we have some younger guys. I feel like everybody that came in can make an impact on the D line. So, he said they bought in the first day and came ready to work, and now we'll see what it looks like. That defense is not going to have the turnover chain anymore that was there under Mark Richt, and Manny Diaz continued it. It is gone now, and Mario Cristobal does not want to talk about it. And I gauged that when the question was posed to him in the room at ACC kickoff. He's done with it. This team is about being serious, and we'll see what the personality of this team looks like and how they carry themselves under Mario Cristobal, because I have a feeling it's going to be different. Tight end Will Mallory, coming from one of the greatest places on the planet, Jacksonville, Florida. Why do I say that? Well, because I love the state of Florida, and I'm a Jaguars fan. Very happy to be a Jaguars fan. And I get to cover the Jaguars, hopefully this being year 12, by the grace of God, God willing. So thank you to the Jaguars organization for allowing me the opportunity to do so over the years, and I look forward to what's to come. Speaking with Will Mallory, I spoke with him about the fact of why he chose to return. There's a coaching change. He didn't have to come back. So what is it about this coaching staff that made Will Mallory feel like, hey, you know what? I want to come back here, and I want to put my body on the line again to see what Mario Cristobal and this entire staff is going to do. Will Mallory played 4 seasons, and, well, he played sparingly in 2018. And last season he had 347 yards. He's had back-to-back seasons of over 320 yards, and he almost had 300 yards in 2019 as well. He's gotten 4 touchdowns in each of the last 2 seasons at the tight end position. I said, why come back and be a part of a coaching change? This is what he said.
Dan Tortora, wakeupcalldt.com, just said, being a part of a team that has this coaching staff, when you have the opportunity to move on and move forward and not have to go through a coaching change, some people would take that road. Why did you want to be a part of this Miami team with this staff?
Yeah, things changed. We were kind of all scrambling, we didn't know what was going to happen. Coach Cristobal came in, and we were fortunate to get him. And then week by week, we kind of saw the additions that he was making. Just get you that more excited. So, I wouldn't want to play for anyone else from last year. So really fortunate to have him, have all the other support staff there, because it's something special. He's a guy that you want to play for, that you want to work for, that you want to win for. So could be more lucky, more blessed to be able to play for a man like him.
So here's Will Mallory of the Miami Hurricanes saying, listen, I wanted to be here. And why go through it all? Why put yourself through a coaching change? And, and I appreciate his response here. And he, said, when things were changing, we were kind of all scrambling. We didn't know what was going to happen. Coach Cristobal came in. We were fortunate to get him. Then week by week, you kind of just saw the additions that he was making. It just gets you that much more excited. I wouldn't want to play for anyone else for my last year. That's what he said. I wouldn't want to play for anyone else. Really fortunate to have him, have all the other support staff there, because it's something special. He's a guy you want to play for, that you want to work for, that you want to win for. Couldn't be more lucky, more blessed to be able to play for a man like him. That is what Will Mallory had to say about Mario Cristobal, and they have not had a single game yet. Big words for the new head coach. Like I said, I think big things might be popping in Miami in a more serious, more polished manner. I think we might see from the Miami Hurricanes, right? That suit game might be looking right. I feel like Mario Cristobal is just changing the nature of Miami, remembering the past and instilling that and reminding the guys, this is what I had when we were winning championships. This is what life was like, bringing that back, and then having the culture be, not that they don't have fun, not that they don't enjoy it, not that they don't smile, but to have a culture of responsibility and a culture of structure, is at least what I'm taking from it right now. Quarterback here, now I have the opportunity with Tyler Van Dyke to speak with him about his time. He finished off last season with a lot of success in the statistical category. Tyler Van Dyke for the team last season, despite the fact that they went through a coaching change after last year, we see that, Tyler Van Dyke finished off the last 4 games of last season in a very, very successful way. And that means he had over 300 yards passing in each of those last 4 games and at least 3 touchdowns in each of those last 4 games. Now, mind you, in his final 6 games, he had over 300 yards passing in each of those 6 games. And he had, well, actually, taking a look back at this, it's more notable to state this. So he had 3 or 4 touchdowns in each of his last 6 games and 300 plus yards in each of his last 6 games. And the team went 5-1 in those final 6 games of the season. After starting off the season 1-3, they finished the season 5-1. So a big time shout out to what he did for the team this past year. I mean, you look at this, that 1-3 start, and then to finish off the season 5-1 last year, to see what Miami was able to do. Big time credit to them and big time work for them here. And, well, I should say in the games that he played in, because he played in 10 games here. So he didn't start off the season. So under him, they finished off the season 5-1. And under him, they, started things off. He only attempted 1 pass against Alabama on September 4th. So you can't call that his game. But Tyler Van Dyke here, in the seasons where in the games where he attempted at least 10 passes, they were 1-2 to start and finished 5-1. So in the games with him out there, after we saw De'Ara King go down with an injury, unfortunately, we saw a lot of success come from this Miami quarterback, who finished with a 62.3% completion percentage on 324 attempts, just shy of 3,000 passing yards, 25 touchdowns to 6 interceptions. So Tyler Van Dyke coming off of success. I asked him about that success, what was clicking, and how he can use it now.
Tyler, Dan Tortora, wakeupcalldt.com. You ended last season, the last 4 games of the regular season, with over 300 yards passing and 3 touchdowns in each of those games, in a season where you didn't expect to necessarily be out there as early as you were. So what can you say about what was clicking at the end of last year, and how do you build on that?
Before the season, I was prepared to have a starter. Always on extra film, always doing what I had to do in case the opportunity came. So, I think the biggest thing is confidence. You can't play football for a special quarterback without confidence. So, that was the biggest thing for me. And I have my team, they have my back, and, we just rally behind inside the team.
So Tyler Van Dyke here, spending some time with me on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora as we preview Miami in our greater ACC preview week. Look at everything here inside of the Cafe Kubal studios and seeing that, right? Seeing all that success and what he was able to do. He said, before the season, I always prepare like I was the starter. I'm always watching extra film, doing what I have to do in case the opportunity came. I think the biggest thing is confidence. You can't play football, or especially quarterback, without confidence. That was the biggest thing for me, and I had my team. They had my back. We just rallied behind the entire team. Going 5-1 in the last 6 games. Very notable there for Tyler Van Dyke in this Miami Hurricane team. And I would go one step further. He said you have to have confidence to play quarterback. I think you have to have confidence to do anything in life. I don't think you can be successful in any relationship without confidence. Romantically, friendship, parent, student, teacher, business owner, athlete. I don't think that you can be successful in life without confidence, because you got to have it, right? You got to believe in yourself. How are other people going to believe in you if you don't believe in you? That's a question that you got to ask yourself. And it's an important question. So I'm excited to see what Miami's going to do. I think Miami's got a shot of winning the Coastal Division. I have them doing that in my prediction. I agreed with the majority of the media. So when the ACC preseason poll came out, The media and I agreed 100% overall. So the majority of the vote that came in, and then my individual vote is exactly the same, 1 through 7 in our divisional prediction for the Coastal Division. So, and we have Miami at the top. I have them getting by Pitt, but I don't count Pitt out. I just think it's hard to win the division in back-to-back years. So we'll see what happens here with Miami and Pitt and the rest of the Coastal Division. Appreciate the coaches being a part of the show, and we'll come back to wrap up this edition of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of ACC Preview Week with the ingredients to success, proudly presented by Avicoli's on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York. So come back with us to hear from Avicoli's and to celebrate a new topic and new ingredients to success right after this, inside the Cafe Kubal Studios on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora.
Cafe Kubal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafekubal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Kubal needs. Cafe Kubal, coffee for the soul.
This is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating. Find them at 201 Old 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York, open Monday through Saturday in-store and all the time online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, you can order all throughout the country at maandpaspopcorn.com. And remember to get your tins, which have in-store half-price refills forever. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, available to you for fundraising and all of your events by calling 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
Witty Wicks Candles and Gift Shop, Township 5 Camillus, where you will find handcrafted all-natural soy wax candles over 60 cents to freshen up your home. We carry a wide range of locally made items, Salsa Q's, Syracuse Salt, and Chocolate Pizza Company, to name a few. Let our knowledgeable staff help choose unique gifts and keepsakes for any occasion. Gifts for family and friends, and maybe a little something for yourself. Witty Wicks Candles and Gift Shop, Township 5 Camillus.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios. Come and find us on 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Street, 401 South Salina Street. Speaking of Cafe Kubal in Syracuse, you can also find them on the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road at Sweetheart Corners in North Syracuse at their drive-through location. And you can find them on 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York, which I implore you to go out there to their double-decker cafe, where when we do the live broadcast with Jason Leone, Rob Drummond, and everybody that's been there with me, we always go up top so we can see, so we're broadcasting out over the entire cafe, which is really cool. So, big ups to Cafe Kubal. Many thanks to them. It's time to get into our ingredients to success, proudly brought to you by the wonderful people at Avicoli's, and always happy to have the ingredients to success here with you. So much appreciation to Avicoli's. Many thanks to Avicoli's, and I got to give you a perfect, beautiful sign. They have so many great things on their menu. I love their pasta dishes that I've had. I've had a pasta dish with shrimp. I've had their veal parmesan sandwich. I have had their many different pizzas. I've had their margarita pizza. I've had their pepperoni pizza. I have had their meat lovers pizza. And my favorite, which I didn't know if anyone was going to take over the margarita pizza, but my favorite one is the barbecue chicken pizza, which is always in the window now, which I'm so ecstatic about. Love the barbecue chicken pizza. It is fantastic. Really, really good. Obviously some barbecue sauce, obviously some chicken, some nice onions on there. Very, very good. Go out and try it today at Avicoli's. Avicoli's is open for you weekly, Tuesday through Sunday. You can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100. And you can also get in touch with them by going straight to their location on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, and seeing what they're all about. So you could definitely go out and see them and check them out there. So definitely make sure you go out to the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, and check out everything that Avicoli's has to offer. Right now, because of the wonderful weather, we have indoor and outdoor seating. Their patio is beautiful with all of their flowers that they put out there. Very colorful. You could see it right from the road there, and you could definitely head outside, or you can stay inside on their fine dining. You can go to their bar, or you can go to their casual side on their pizza side. So a lot of different ways to enjoy Avicoli's, and I appreciate everybody that has, and I look forward to everybody that will go out there and enjoy themselves some Avicoli's. With that being said, Avicoli's brings you every Tuesday to round out the show the ingredients to success. And I pick a topic and I pick the ingredients. Well, the topic for today is your mind. The topic for today is your mind. And you say, okay, Dan, what are you talking about? Well, your mind can either work for you or work against you. Your mind can either work for you or work against you. It is a very powerful thing. They say that we only have tapped into 10% of our brains, right? So there's a reason why, if that's true, there's a reason why God has allowed 10% and, not 100%, right? There's a reason why. Now, the brain is a very powerful, powerful thing. And I think that, they say you can do anything you set your mind to, right? And there's a lot to be said about someone's mind. But your mind can be a battlefield, it can be a minefield, or it can be a place of peace. Now, you're not going to be perfect, but do you want your mind to be a beautiful rolling hill area with greenery and beautiful flowers? Or do you want your mind to be a place that's filled with landmines that at any point you could step on them and blow up how you feel for the day? It's your choice. Well, what are your ingredients to success? Well, it's what you ingest. What you take in has a lot to do with how you think. What shows do you watch? I've talked about stuff like this before. What are you ingesting? Do you get on the phone and constantly talk about drama? Do you hang out with people that are dramatic? Think about that. Think about the conversations you had yesterday. Who did you talk to? What did you talk about? Is that what you commonly talk about? Do you ever get together with them and not talk about things that are negative or dramatic? Do you always get together and talk about people, right? Other people. Is it positive? Is it negative? So, we all have to be cognizant of the conversations we're having and who we're having them with and the energy that we get from them. I don't like being around dramatic people. I want to help people that are hurting, but I don't want them to focus on the drama, right? I want to help them, but I don't want it to just be about the drama. I want to work it out, right? I'm a problem solver. There's some people, and I find this with people that create problems. I don't see it a lot with people that don't create them, but I'm sure those people exist too. But there's people that solve problems, seek to solve problems, and there's people that just talk about the problem. And there's people that when a problem arises, they push it under the rug, and there's people that handle the problem in the moment. I'm a problem solver that wants to handle it now. I am not naive to think I'm going to be alive forever on this planet. I do believe in eternal life with God, but I'm not naive to think like, oh, I'm going to live forever. I can do whatever the heck I want. So every interaction for me means something. If I do but one tiny small thing that I think could be bad or negative or be conceived as a sin or some wrongdoing, I apologize. I feel bad. I can't sit with that. I can't go, oh yeah, I did this to somebody years ago and I just, whatever. You know, I have to apologize if I feel like I've done something wrong. And if somebody's wronged me, I want to say, hey, like, this is how I feel. This is what I want to work on. Now, what I don't like in conversations with certain people that don't take personal responsibility is when you have conversations with certain people, you realize that person did something to you and they're mad at you for reminding them that they did it, and they're mad at you for talking about it because it makes them feel bad. And my response to them is, well, imagine how I feel with what you did. Imagine how the person feels, because I always liken it to like you shot somebody and they're on the ground bleeding going, why did you shoot me? Can you get this bullet out of my chest? Can you help me? Why would you do this to me? And the person holding the smoking gun is like, why are you talking about me shooting you? It's making me feel bad. It's hurting my feelings. And you're like, well, your feelings are hurt. I'm literally bleeding out right now. Like, I'm physically hurt. I'm emotionally hurt. I'm mentally confused. So I always find it interesting when the perpetrator plays the victim. And when I talk about your mind as today's topic, when you're in conversations with people, number one, if somebody loves you, they shouldn't be hurting you. Now, nobody's perfect. We're going to make mistakes. But when somebody hurts you and you tell them, like, this is what hurt me, and it hurt me because of this, this, and this, and I don't really like this. If you tell them how they hurt you and what they did, and then they do it the next day, or a week from then, or 2 months, or 3 months, or 5 months, or 10 months down the road, what they're telling you is, you told me how to hurt you, I did it, and I'm continuing to do it now fully knowing. Maybe the first time I didn't know. And some of the stuff I think is ridiculous, right? If you're in a relationship, you don't cheat, you don't flirt. If you are in a friendship and you say, I'm going to meet you at 2 o'clock, you don't show up at 3:15 and not apologize, right? If you're in a business partnership, you don't promise something that you don't give, and you don't just go, oh, I hope that they didn't catch it. You know, there's things that people should just know, but let's just say for argument's sake that you don't know normal human etiquette, that I consider normal human etiquette. You know, you're on time, you don't yell, swear at people, you don't like punch people, you don't scream at people, you know, stuff like that. So let's say you didn't know that. So the first time you do it, somebody says, hey, you did this and it hurt me. Okay, number one, do you say you're sorry? Number two, do you fix it? And number three, do you do it again? Because a repeat offender that's habitual, right? You can't say it's a mistake if you've done it multiple times. You can't say it's a mistake I had somebody tell me they made a mistake and they had done something for 4 months straight. It's not a mistake. It's a habit, right? A habit takes 3 weeks, takes 21 days. How many 3 weeks are in 4 months? There's 4 sets of 3 weeks within that, right? And when you look at 4 months, you're looking at 16 weeks. Not 3 weeks, you're looking at 16 weeks. So you're looking at quadruple, you're looking at quadruple, and then you're looking at more than 5 times what it takes, right? So, I mean, that's how I look at this. I say to myself, what is somebody doing? How often are they doing it? Is it a mistake? If it's a mistake, you do it once. Maybe you do it twice. If it's a habit, you do it over and over and over again. And when somebody tells you this hurts me, you may not care about it. It may not matter to you, but it matters to them. So if you want to have a relationship, if you want to have a friendship, if you want to have a romantic relationship, you want to work for that boss, then you have to understand that maybe it doesn't matter to you, but it matters to them. Maybe all the bosses you've ever had don't care if you're 5 minutes late. But the boss you have right now doesn't want you to be late, doesn't want you to be on time. They want you to be 15 minutes early. And they've told you every time you show up 10 minutes early, 5 minutes late, 20 minutes late, right on time, they say, hey, remember 15 minutes early. Hey, remember 15 minutes early. You apologize 1, 2, 3 times, 4 times, 10 times. This boss has now lost some faith in you. This boss does not think you value them. They don't think you value their time. They don't think you respect them. Whether or not they tell you, that lives there because they've told you what they expect, and whether or not that's important to you, you're working for that boss. That's what matters to them, right? I've known people that say, I've had friends that are like, oh, I'm a flirt, and any girl that I date, they know I'm a flirt, and they got to deal with it. Well, first and foremost, nobody has to deal with that. And the only way a woman's dealing with that is if she's flirting too. And if you're flirting and she's flirting, then why are you guys dating each other? Because you're obviously saying this isn't enough for me. And if it's not enough for you, well, then let it go. Because you either don't appreciate it or you don't want it. And I think when we seek to control our own mind, we have to look at what we're ingesting. Are we around people that are hurting us, that we keep giving more chances to, that keep apologizing or not apologizing? Now, if somebody hurts you and they don't apologize, that is a fireable offense to me, right? In your personal or professional life. Somebody hurts you and they carry on. That tells you they don't care about your feelings. Somebody hurts you, they apologize, but they keep doing it. They don't care about your feelings. Somebody hurts you and they go silent. They don't care about your feelings. Because what I know about my life is I don't want to hurt you the first time. If I hurt you the first time, I don't want you. I never want to have a conversation where my mom sits me down, a girlfriend sits me down, my dad sits me down, my best friend sits me down, my business partner sits me down. I don't want anybody to have to say to me, this is what you did that hurt me. I don't ever want to have that conversation because I don't want to hurt people. But I've learned that nobody should have to sit down somebody that cares about them and say, please stop hurting me. And on top of that, you should never have to ask twice. So if you're in a relationship in business, or you're in a relationship with your family or your friends, listen, blood doesn't mean anything. It's how people treat you. Stop with this family stuff like, oh, well, we're the same blood, so I can do whatever I want to you. You can be my punching bag. No, if you can't do it to a stranger, you can't do it to your family. Being a good person is simply that. Be a good person. You can't, people that say you have to deal with me are people that are insecure with themselves and they're trying to control you. You have to deal with this. No, you don't. You don't have to deal with that. You can get divorced. You can leave your house. You don't have to be with that family. You don't have to talk to that family. You don't have to be friends with those people. You don't have to date that person. You don't have to work for that person. I don't like when people tell me this is a horrible environment. It stresses me out. It's beating up my mind. I can't think straight. I'm depressed. I'm angry. I'm anxious, but I can't do anything about it. Well, are you alive? Yeah. Are you catatonic? No. Do you still have the ability to have your own thoughts? Yeah. Well, then do something. Because the longer you stay, the more you're going to regret it. I think people need to realize that you are in control of your mind. And you should never have to ask somebody to stop hurting you. Especially not a loved one. You should never have to ask somebody to stop hurting you. I should never have to go to a boss like I did in the past. I should never have had to go to a boss and say, stop lying to me. Stop promising me things that you're never going to give me, right? I should have never had to go in a romantic relationship and say, stop hurting me. Stop doing these things that I believe would hurt anybody. Stop doing them. You shouldn't have to beg somebody to stop punching you in the face, figuratively or literally. You should not have to ask a friend to stop making it an uneven balance where you're constantly doing more for them than they are for you. You shouldn't have to beg your father or mother to care about your career and care about what you do in your life. You should not have to beg, borrow, plead, and steal from the people that love you if they really do. So I want you to take a look at your life right now, and I want you to ask yourself, how healthy is your mind? How are you taking care of yourself? How healthy is your mind? And what are you doing to get better? because you are in control of your mind. And if somebody is making you think a certain way or telling you how to think or distorting your reality, when someone distorts your reality and they tell you crazy is sane, up is down, left is right, bad is good, the longer you stay in that environment, the more you will start to believe that the abuse you take is abuse that is normal and abuse you deserve. I don't want to hear people tell me, I can't get out of this job. I can't get out of this relationship. Yeah, you can. What you're telling me is, I don't want to do something that's difficult. I don't want to face this difficult. And that's when it comes down to settling. Well, I don't want to lose the money at this job. I want to have a job, so I'll keep this job. I'll keep this money. I don't want to be alone, so I'll keep this person as my partner. I'll continue to date this person that is not treating me right because it's better than being alone. I'll take the couple good moments instead of being totally alone. People are so afraid to be alone. People are so afraid to step out on their own. They're afraid to go after their dreams. There's a reason why so few of us chase our dreams and so many people listen to the people that chase their dreams. How many people listen to a talk show like mine from their cubicle in the job that they hate, saying, I wish I got to do that. I wish I did what Dan did. I wish I got to go cover my favorite teams. I wish I got to travel. And I tell those people, then go do it. Go do it. I want you to be successful. I'm not a person that balks at other people's success. Those people are insecure. I don't give a crap if you have a successful career. As long as you're treating people right and doing good things, I'm cool. But you don't threaten me by being successful. There's no threat to me. The only thing that threatens me is when I'm not good to me. That's my threat. So I want you to look at your life today and I want you to ask yourself the question, am I dating somebody that's constantly hurting me and not fixing themselves, not apologizing, not getting better, not caring? Am I in a work environment where I'm in a rut and is this a rut is it a rut or is it a black hole? Is it temporary or has it been permanent? My boss isn't going to change. So what am I doing? Am I married because I have kids with this person or because I love them? When I ask somebody about their marriage, I don't want to hear, well, it costs too much to get divorced. Well, we have kids together. Well, she's not bad most of the time. Well, he's okay, except for when he drinks. I want to hear, I love them, if that's the truth. Because that should be the only answer that you give me. When I say, why are you married? It should be because you love them more than you could love anything else ever, besides maybe your kids. We live in a society that is so complacent of doing the bare minimum just to get by. And you're going to die someday. You're going to die. And I don't fear that statement. But people think, oh my God, Dan, that's so morbid. You're going to die someday. And when you do you want to say, I stayed married to that person because we had kids together? I accepted that mediocrity of friendship because I didn't want to be alone? I let my father talk to me this way because I needed a father figure? So I took the abuse because I just wanted to have him there? You should never take abuse. You should never take people's garbage. When someone wraps a gift for you, it may look beautiful initially, but when you open it, if there's a pile of dog poop in there, you don't have to take it. You don't have to eat it. You don't have to smell it. You don't have to put it in your house. Why do we keep taking these gifts, these piles of dog poop, and saying, okay, you know what? This job is okay. This relationship's okay. This friendship is okay. No. If it ain't good, it ain't good. Plain and simple. You're going to die someday. Do you want to be married to someone who's okay? Do you want to be friends with someone that you're a better friend to them than they are to you? Do you want to live in a world where you just get by? Or do you want to be with someone that you're the love of their life and they can't imagine hurting you because every time they hurt you, they hurt themselves? Do you want to have friends that would never let you go a day wondering if you still matter? That check on you when they don't hear from you? Are you the only person sending messages saying, I love you, buddy? Or do you get that back? Are you the one that does all the work? Or do you have people in your life that reach out to you? Do you have people that give and take with you? Do you work at a job that values you, that's giving you a promotion, that's thanked you, that remembers your birthday? Or else, what are we doing? And why do we become so okay with not having good things? If you can wake up this morning and say the person I'm in a relationship with doesn't value me, doesn't appreciate me, doesn't respect me, silences me, disappears, ghosts me, comes to me when it's convenient, lies to me, goes behind my back, then you're not in a relationship. If you have a friendship where your friend hurt you and they made minimal effort to make it right and then disappeared, they're not your friend. If you're working for a boss who doesn't care that you're there, you don't have to take abuse. I did it this weekend. There's somebody that I'm not friends with anymore because of how they treat me. They could treat everybody else great. They don't treat me great. So we're not friends anymore. So I decided to finally tell them, I'm not fond of the way that you talk. Some people don't like being around you. Now, I don't want to hurt you, and I don't want to make you feel bad, and I don't want to ruin your day. I'm not an eye for an eye person. But I am going to tell you, I don't appreciate your behavior, and the people around me don't appreciate your behavior, and we're not very fond of how you are, and we don't consider it a joke. We consider it mean, and you shouldn't do it. You're going to decide what you want to do. I have no control over you. But I'm telling you, if this is who you are, I don't want to be around you. And you have every right to do that. You have every right to do that. You have to control your mind and your thoughts. And when you are around people that don't value you, your mind will deteriorate into mush. You will start to beat up on yourself. Your mind, there is a direct correlation between your mind being your greatest enemy and being around people who are constantly attacking you. Sometimes we're mean to ourselves and everything is great. I've been there. But you're not going to help yourself by surrounding yourself with negativity and people that don't appreciate you. If you already don't think highly of yourself and you put yourself around people that don't treat you as a gift and as a treasure and as a child of God, then what are you doing? If you don't matter to somebody and they can just wake up one morning and act like you're not a part of their life and they can just move on with your life like you never even existed, then what are you chasing after in business? What are you chasing after in your family? What are you chasing after in friendship? And what are you chasing after romantically? If somebody can go about their life like you never mattered and they can continue on not caring about you at all, then stop caring about the subject. That doesn't mean don't pray for them. It doesn't mean don't wish them well. It doesn't mean wish bad on them. It means if somebody has shown you that you don't matter to them, why are you letting them matter up here and in here? Be good to yourself, people. And understand that you have every right to say, I've had enough. Because people that take only take and continue to take and don't stop taking until you eventually tell them your well is not open for business anymore. Those are the ingredients to success. Proudly brought to you by the wonderful people at Avicoli's. Avicoli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road there in Liverpool, New York, minutes from Liverpool High School. You can walk there from Liverpool High School. Once again, Avicoli's on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York. Make sure you head out there today. Let them know the Wake Up Call sent you. They're there every Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. Of course, as always, drink responsibly and go out there and have a good time. Go out there on a date. Bring your family, bring the kids, bring your friends, go to a business meeting. So many different things to enjoy there. With indoor and outdoor seating, fine dining, casual dining, and their bar. Head out to Avicoli's today. And, of course, for takeout, delivery, and catering, you can call them at 315-622-5100. And you can also go to myavicolis.com. Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is live for you every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time on youtube.com, facebook.com, and mixlr.com, all /Wake Up Call DT worldwide. And on facebook.com/livenowdt, as well as on the homepage of wakeupcalldt.com. We appreciate you tuning in live worldwide Monday through Friday from 9 to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. We are also with you on Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes and Apple Podcasts, MixLR, Player FM, Podbean, Podvine, TuneIn, Spotify, Stitcher, and YouTube. All you have to do is search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT, on any one of these outlets, and you will get our show for free. Make sure you download us and save us. Thanks to our Central and Upstate New York partners and beyond: Cafe Kubal, Carvel DeWitt, Wildcat Sports Pub, PB&J's Lunchbox, Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Avicoli's, Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, Canine Campground Dog Boarding, Millhouse Market, Pizza Man, Witty Wicks, Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay, Honda City of Liverpool, Mother's Cupboard, and Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. And, of course, Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is proudly your exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Lemoyne College Dolphins here. It is Fins Up every single month on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora with Lemoyne in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership. You can hang out with the Dolphins here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single Wednesday for Dolphin time at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, including this Wednesday, August 3rd. Every first and third Wednesday of each month is reserved for AD and DT specials with Athletics Director Bob Beretta and myself, Dan Tortora. And every second and fourth Wednesday, we have my conversations with student athletes, coaches, administration, as well as future Dolphins and alumni. You can hang out with all of them every second and fourth Wednesday in our Dolphin Dive specials. We thank you, as always, for connecting with us here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life. So make sure you check that out. You can get all of our Dolphin content on our Lemoyne tab on wakeupcalldt.com. You can also get it by subscribing to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. And, of course, for more information on your Dolphins, go to lemoynedolphins.com. Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is also the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Marywood University Pacers. It is Pacer Pride every single month on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Your Pacers coming to you on Fridays at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time for all new editions of what we call Pacer Pride, because that's exactly what I have as a proud alum of Marywood University. Our Pacer Pride specials feature student athletes, coaches, and administration from Marywood University. You can check out all of our Marywood content in our library on the Marywood tab on wakeupcalldt.com. You can also go to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt and subscribe. For more information on your Pacers, go to marywoodpacers.com. The Bryan and Stratton College of Syracuse Bobcats are here every single month on Wake Up Call in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with Bobcat Buzz. Plenty of stuff coming up with the Bobcats. You can check it out on our social media. You can also find them on the BSC SYR tab on wakeupcalldt.com. You can also find them by going to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/wakeupcalldt for our archive of Bobcat Buzz. You can search Bobcat Buzz with my name, Tortora, and you will find our Bobcat Buzz as well on YouTube. Definitely check us out. Plenty of awesome things coming up. We just had a Cafe Kubal takeover with Clay Gagan Sherman of the men's basketball team as head coach on site at the 324 West Water Street location in Syracuse at Creek Walk Commons. And we just did signing day for the men's basketball team and had 5 of their signees there, as well as an exclusive conversation with Darren Joyner, which you can see on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt, Twitter @CallDT, Facebook.com/wakeupcalldt, and on Instagram @wakeupcall_DT on our feed. So make sure you check us out there. For more information on your Bobcats, go to syracuse.bscbobcats.com. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, I want to thank you for joining us all the time, including for this week, ACC Preview Week. We brought you Syracuse, as well as Boston College, Florida State, and NC State on yesterday's broadcast. Go back and watch that. And today we brought you Duke, Virginia, Virginia Tech, and Miami, all 4 teams that have new head coaches in the ACC, all in the Coastal Division. I want to thank all of my guests today. So I want to start things off by thanking Duke. I want to thank head coach Mike Elko, defensive tackle Dwayne Carter, linebacker Shaka Hayward, and offensive lineman Jacob Monk. From Virginia, I want to thank head coach Tony Elliott, quarterback Brennan Armstrong, linebacker Nick Jackson, and wide receiver and jack of all trades, Keaton Thompson. For Virginia Tech, I want to thank head coach Brent Pry, offensive lineman Silas Zansi, as well as linebacker Dax Holyfield, and I want to thank a wide receiver Caleb Smith. And from Miami, I want to thank head coach Mario Cristobal, defensive end Jafari Harvey, tight end Will Mallory, and quarterback Tyler Van Dyke. We continue our conversation with the entire ACC this week in ACC Preview Week, coming up on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. I look forward to seeing you soon. God bless, no stress. Do your best as always. Facebook @WakeUpCallDT, Twitter @CallDT, Instagram @WakeUpCall_DT. From the Cafe Kubal Studios, this is ACC Preview Week, and we will be back with more ACC content, as well as Lemoyne, Marywood, and our signature segments. Thanks to Avicoles for the ingredients to success. Head out there for lunch today and all throughout the week for lunch, dinner, and drinks. Drink responsibly and be good to each other. God bless. No stress. Do your best. It's worth saying again. And remember, from the ingredients to success, what are you putting around you? What are you bringing into your mind? And what relationships do you have? And do you have relationships with people that are fruitful or people that are destroying your fruit? Are there people that are killing? Are there people like insects that are eating and destroying the fruit on your tree? Or are there people that are growing branches with you that are having and bearing fruit? What are you getting? It's one or the other, and it can't be both. Either they're the insect destroying your crop, or they're the plant that is helping your crop to grow, or the sunlight or the rain that helps that crop to be there. So who are you surrounding yourself with? What are they bringing into your life? And how positive or negative is it? Because it has a direct effect on your health, on your sanity, and on your life. Be good to yourself, be good to each other, and find solutions to problems, and stay away from people that just want to be the problem. I'll talk with you soon. God bless.